Hello again, everyone, and welcome to another edition of My Cousin's Basement, coming to you live from My Cousin's Basement. Well, actually, your cousin's basement. I am your host, Tim Patrick, and always with me is my hetero life mate, the J to my silent Bob, my left testicle, Rando. How you doing, sir?
It's going good, Tim. What's going on?
Same shit, different piles, my friend.
It's always a different pile over here at Tim's house.
It's always something to do here.
Not my basement. It's my cousin's basement, by the way. So we're always trying to see which basement we can end up in before each podcast. And lately it's been Tim's basement. So
Yeah.
I can technically say it's my cousin's basement in
Exactly.
this podcast. So what topics we got here today, Tim?
Today, sir, I think we're going to talk about some family members who are just every family has one. You know, there's so many different kinds of characters that are in people's and everyone's family that it's just like everybody said people always say their family is always the same. It's just, like mine would be the same as yours.
Mm-hmm.
You have a certain kind of family members. I have certain kind of, and we share a lot of them. Not just because we're family, it's just because that's how it is.
Right. No, that makes sense. I think that, the topics we have today is kind of like families and their family challenges, and everybody feels like, their family's most dysfunctional. Like everybody feels like their family's not normal, right? I mean, I think one of the biggest things I remember as a kid when I would, date girls or just bring friends over, it's like, hope my family doesn't embarrass them, or like not embarrass them, but embarrass me. I mean,
Yes.
And you always worry about the stupid things, and when you're a kid, most of them is ignored unless it's something really blatant and like weird that your family does. But come to find out, like most people and families all have their quirks and their own things that they go through and stuff with their own family members. So, and then you always see like these families from the outside, like you. When we were kids, what was like the Brady Bunch? People always wanted their family to be like the Brady Bunch, or like a stereotypical, like everybody's great in the family, everybody listens, does whatever, and it's like that's make believe. There's no such thing as this kind of family.
No, but if you think about it, the Brady Bunch, the Bundys, the Modern Family, the Simpsons, all of them have the core family that are always up to somebody's up to something stupid or mischievous. Yeah, something. Even on South Park. There's all kinds. You can the list goes down up and down because those a lot of them were based on actual family members.
Yeah. Well, it's funny you brought that up. I didn't think about that, but all sitcom shows and the really popular ones are all based on like family.
Yeah, real
Family Matters.
Yeah, family exactly.
Roseanne.
There you go.
I know we bring her up all the time in our podcast, but
we love her so much.
Yeah, we love Roseanne. I like her old comedy.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I like her ambient tweets. Her the best.
Your baseball. I've never seen any of those.
What?
The ambient tweets.
Oh, that's why she got canceled.
Yeah, I know that one. Duh.
But yeah, I didn't put two and two together now. But it's like all those good shows. Like like King of Queens. Or
Home Improvement.
Home Improvement. Oh yeah, Home Improvement. Awesome.
Come on, man.
Or what's another great one that's 2.5 Men?
Yeah.
God, I love that show. I gotta rewatch that show.
I'm on season 4 or 5 right now. I never watched it because I never really cared for it. But then after a while, I'm just like, this sounds so much like people I know.
I guess you could say too on that '70s show. Was it really?
Yeah.
It was family too. I mean,
everybody had a red.
Right. Everybody has a red. That's right. I guess that we can just jump right into it, but. That's a good way to segue into it, I guess, is there is a lot of families, and every one of those shows had stuff going on. I mean, Fresh Prince. I mean, obviously, he had to leave his family or leave the hood because he didn't want to get killed or whatever.
West Philadelphia.
Yeah. So I wrote down a bunch of stuff for this.
Might not be able to cover all of them because there's so many.
There is, but I don't think we have to. I mean, because obviously, in every family, someone's going to have one of these, right? And this is kind of what you're alleviating to is the people in our family, and we can label them with whatever you want. I mean, it's not even being judgmental; it's just being truthful, right? Yeah. So I'll just start, and so some family people that everybody probably has in their family, and we'll start it off the rebel.
Yes. Always the rebel.
There's always someone who in the family who wants to go against whatever their family's doing, against the grain, fight them every tooth and nail on whatever they're doing. Doesn't matter if it's like going to church or going to the mall or going to school, which is probably a big one for kids.
Oh, yeah.
And this probably happens with adults too. And probably the biggest one is going to family functions. I don't want to see family or do anything with family.
Yeah.
And people always ask like where they're at, why they're doing this. They're always, they got something better to do. go hang out with their friends or their.
They see their family all the time, so why not see their friends? But yet you see their friends all the time.
Yeah, I guess it's the kind of thing that it's the kind of way they want to play, and who knows what's really going on with them? They could be depressed. I don't know what's going on, but
right.
I think I don't know if I really had anybody in my family who was a rebel. I knew people who were rebels.
Well, Sarah kind of is. I mean, she went against everything, the normal morals of things. She was on her own a lot.
That's true, but I think she had some weird goals where she wanted. This is my sister, by the way. It's where she wanted to travel and do stuff.
Yeah,
and
she didn't want to stick around with the family. She just wanted to get out. She just wanted to get away.
She wanted to get away. She wanted to live her life and do her own things. I think a lot of people have those, like when they're young, those goals and aspirations. And then she figured out real quick as she got older, she's like, I need to come back and be with my family. Like it's not what it's all cracked out to be. Like it's cool to go sightsee and do all stuff and whatever. When you're young, that's probably the time to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think it humbled her real quick to come back and be like,
I need these people.
I need these people. And when you go everywhere, you don't know anybody. Like
right.
you're by yourself. You're with your significant other, and like that's it. Like you might meet some people, but she was hopping around from place to place. So I mean, I guess you could say that was kind of rebellious or whatever, or you could say she just wants to be adventurous. I don't know, but
yeah, just depends how you look at it.
Yeah. I was just saying, the people that I always saw the rebels were mostly like kids at school when I was a kid. Like, and maybe they're just more the outcast kids. Maybe they had a bad family life or home life, or maybe they were just fuckheads and they didn't want to participate in school and do anything. But those are the rebelish people I always remember as a kid.
Yeah, for me, I was the rebel one. I wanted to get away from my family so bad. I wanted to, when I was little, like real little, like 4 or 5. I wanted to join the Marines because I love GI Joe, and I just wanted. And my family was just, they put the fun in dysfunctional. There's so many family bad things that happen. I don't want to talk about on at least the podcast. And it's just, I just wanted to get away from my family so bad, and I did for a little while, but then I came back and then left, came back again, and now I'm home again. So it's for me, it was just because I did not want to be with my family at all for nothing. My parents were so abusive and stuff like that. I wanted to get away from that, and then my brother was just an asshole, not me an asshole, just I couldn't stick around. I couldn't be around him.
But at least you knew that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you guys might have. Did you guys bump heads a lot?
Oh yeah, a lot, a lot.
Mm-hmm.
He used to kick the crap out of me when I was little until I saved him when I was like 14 or 13. I did a very bad thing, but it brought me and him a little bit closer.
Well, sometimes I think in families, sometimes people know, like they always say that there's family members that know they can't work together. I have a friend that says, can't work with his family, and they know, so they work separate jobs, but they have a better relationship because they do.
Yeah.
Some wives and husbands, they own businesses. Some can work together, and a lot can't because they're like,
they see the person all the damn time.
No, it's not that. They don't want to bring their work home with them and argue about that kind of stuff. Some people are made to do that stuff. Some people aren't. So it's good that you recognize you and your brother couldn't, do that, because probably you guys wouldn't have a relationship today if you did.
Probably not, yeah.
Well, I'd say most time those kind of things drive people away from each other, right?
True, very true.
And plus you're young and immature at
that
age,
yeah, I mean, yeah.
Right?
You don't know any better yet.
So, I'll go from the rebel. Is there anything else you want to talk about the rebel?
No, rebel.
You kind of still are a rebel, to be honest with you.
I know, yeah.
You kind of, don't
give a fuck about anything.
Don't give a fuck. Don't stick with social norms. Which you know what, I think that's fine. I like that. I admire that about you. I don't like that everybody is a robot and wants to be the same and wants to do the same things. And I'm definitely that way as I've gotten older. I was like that when I was younger. I didn't really try to hide it or anything, but I wasn't a rebel per se. I was just who I was.
Yeah.
I think that's the same thing with
you. You were coming into yourself. You had a lot to learn about yourself, and you did after a while.
Mm-hmm.
And you realized, what's good for you, and what's bad for you, and what you should do and what you shouldn't do.
Yeah.
You learned your lesson, so to say.
Yeah.
I'm still 15 years old.
Well, I guess it could be worse. I
could be in jail.
You could be in jail. It could be a lot worse. What's going on?
Oh yeah.
I think.
I think we turned out okay.
Yeah, we turned out a lot.
Hey, we're alive, man. We're alive.
We're alive.
If I was all my health problems and shit, and all the shit I've been through, yeah.
Yeah, I could say that too. One for the family and stuff. The health. If there's always a person who's got a health risk or there's a lot of health problems, and I guess I could say that in my family a little bit, but I think that's everybody's family as they get older, like, from younger ages to older ages, that people have their health risk on certain things.
Some of them you can't help, some of them you can help.
Yeah, I think there's people that are gluttons that probably overeat and do certain things and abuse their body, probably not eating right or whatever. But when you're young, it's not a big problem because your body can put the garbage in and garbage out pretty quick. But as you get older, it becomes more of like, hey, if you continue to do this, your body's going to not be able to function as well. You're not going to be able to
stand up or anything like that shit.
Not just stand up. You're not going to be able to function, that's correct. You won't be as active, you know, and you'll feel crappy, sluggish, inflammation all the time and stuff like that. And I think a lot of people, especially like nowadays, are starting to realize that because like if you look at pictures, I think Joe Rogan showed this like 2 weeks ago, or maybe a week ago. I think he showed it to Elon Musk or somebody else listening there, David Blaine. He showed a picture of like the 80s of like people that would walk around and stuff, and everybody was super skinny and fit and stuff. And I think we talked about this before, but he said probably more people smoked back then, whatever, but there was less like fast food, preservatives, junk shoved in their face and stuff. So people were less eating. So they might have been eating healthier and more exercise, or just things would have been more natural. But if you look at America now today, it's more of an epidemic where people are super unhealthy because of what we eat, you know. But that's what's shoved in their face. Like, go online or go on to a movie. What do you see all the time? Ads for fast food or junk food or whatever, and they make it look like the best thing ever because it is fucking great.
Exactly.
You know, but it's also ass backwards where that food's the cheapest and the good food's expensive.
Exactly. So $10 for a salad or $4 for a burger. It's like, what the hell, dude?
Right. It should be $10 for the burger and $4 for the salad. But that's just the marketing, and obviously that's just what they've done. So it's kind of
we're trapped.
Yeah, we're trapped in that situation. So I think we all know someone in our family who's had a lot of health risks or just are a health risk. And a lot of people just don't give a shit. I think that's what it comes down to. And I think my dad said this to me the other day, and this was really stuck with me. He's like, the first 40 years of your life, you stick around, or not stick around, but the first 40 years of your life, you're enjoying your life. In the last 40 years, you're fighting to keep your life around, yourself around, like your health around or whatever. I forget the quote he uses. I'm botching it, but pretty much what he was saying is like the first 40 years you don't give a shit. The last 40 years you do give a shit, and it's by that time it's like if you would have been doing that for the last 40 years, or at least the last 20 or whatever, you wouldn't be this predicament where you have these health issues going forward. So I think it's become better with social media, with culture, people like being like, hey, be more aware of what you're eating and what you're doing, and now they're trying to ban foods and do this other stuff, which I think is a good idea, but I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I mean, it's fast food, especially people like because it's so accessible. I can go up to any college dorm or anything like that, and I could go up and say, hey, do you know how to fix linguine? Do you know how to fix your own hamburger? Do you know how to cook? And I can guarantee like 8 out of 10, maybe 7 out of 10 don't know how to cook. Mm-hmm. You know, people burn boiling water. That's how bad it is.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what makes fast food, not just because it tastes good and it's somewhat affordable. Well, not saying it is, but it's because it's accessible. It's so easy to get.
Accessible and convenient.
Yes.
Everything's about convenience in our world nowadays. So like these kids that go around, I get it. You know, I was thinking through college, I get it, cooking food and stuff. But to be honest, it was really weird during like my college years. I was on a huge health kick. Like I was really into the gym. I didn't eat the best, but I still watched what I ate or whatever, and I would cook, but I wouldn't cook a lot. You know, I knew to do like chicken, but like throw chicken in the oven or throw something in the crock pot. Like crock pots were like really big, you know, around that time before there was air fryers, because air fryers have literally, if I was a kid and had an air fryer, I would never have problems cooking food. But it's like, yeah, you're right. There's not a lot of, I'd say, education around like how to cook, like what should you cook. I saw that in Francetown North around us. I don't know if you've seen it, but they're getting the whole school's getting redone. Mm-hmm. And they're putting, I mean, I don't know how many millions of dollars they're putting into this, but they put a whole culinary school in there to teach kids how to cook.
Good.
Obviously for professional stuff, like for like, you know, when they get older, like colleges and a lot of the like the vans that people are doing or whatever nowadays, or culinary school type stuff, so they can go to college and have experience when they go to college.
Good.
But also to teach them the skill set of cooking, because a lot of people, it's been lost, right? And they realize that, and they're putting like esports arenas in there, and they're just putting everything you could think of, and a lot of stuff. Like they put even a medical thing in there. I think for
shit.
I think this school is doing it. Maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong, but something to help. Like if you want to get into nursing or be a doctor or whatever, it's like they're helping the kids progress at a younger age, because there's so much stuff that's getting lost in translation now of going to college. So I thought that was cool.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, they should do stuff like that. When we were in school, we learned how to change a tire, balance a checkbook, and sew buttons, and little stuff like that people take for granted. Because, like I said, especially with like the fast food stuff, you could always call somebody and have them do it for you, or you can watch a YouTube video, which some of them do, some of them don't, kind of thing. It's just. Kids nowadays need to learn.
They need to learn.
You can't, this Obama thing where no kids left behind kind of crap.
Mm-hmm.
No. If that kid is not making the grades, he should not move on. I don't care who he is, what his parents' stature is, or anything like that.
Yeah.
They do not move on.
Yeah. That was a ghost. I think you're right. I think the no left behind thing, the intentions are correct. Like, you don't want to leave kids behind, and then they feel like they're a failure, and then they drop out of school, and then they're stuck or they're fucked or whatever. I think they need extra help. They have to get the extra help and the extra attention or whatever, which I think public schools have done a better job about. But I think you're right. I think schools need to do a better. When I left school, we didn't do anything about health at all, like learning about like what kind of foods are good to eat and what kind of stuff is good to cook and why you should be eating these kind of food groups and doing that stuff. I think they touched that when you're a young age.
Yeah.
And they showed the food pyramid, which is a fucking scam, and it's messed up and saying wrong because
they keep changing it.
Well, they've changed it because it was paid off by the sugar companies a long time ago to promote what was good, like bread and all this other bullshit. Right. It's like, yeah, bread's fine, but it's like not the way they promoted it, right?
Right.
So my point was, like, if we had better education at a younger age, it's the same thing with drinking, like in different countries. It's like if you had more education around it and it was like more like common knowledge, people wouldn't need to have all these dietitians and all these doctors showing them like, hey, if you just eat right, you don't have to take all this medicine. You don't have to do all this stuff. Like, food is pretty much like the biggest thing that we should have education around in the schools for. We're going to go on this rabbit hole or whatever, right. But. With the health risks kind of stuff for like family members, it's like a lot of stuff could probably be alleviated at a young age if there was just more education around it. And
exactly.
If we were educated at our age, and we could educate our kids organically, and they could learn in school, by the time they became our age, they wouldn't need any stuff. They all have this common knowledge, just like counting. Common knowledge, count numbers and do math or like basic math or certain with stuff with science or anything else. It's like that's what it should be, in my opinion, for that kind of stuff. Like checkbook stuff, like you're talking about, like we learned that, but like nowadays they should be teaching kids about finances and credit cards and stuff,
right?
Not checkbooks, right? But the tire thing, I didn't get to learn that in school. I did shop, but we never had like a class like automobile class. I thought that would have been great to learn how to change a tire. I mean, my dad and stuff taught me how to do one or whatever. I've only done it one time in my life, because how many times you're gonna pull off a tire unless you have a flat tire on the side of the road? But
dude, we had like welding classes. I mean, metal shop class, plastic class. Learn that kind of stuff.
I think a lot of that stuff went by the wayside because of the danger around it.
But dude, we turned out fine. I mean, hell, we learned how to make a fucking ashtray like by pouring hot aluminum into a mold kind of thing.
Yeah, I think what they should do, you don't have to have a real life car in class. Just have like
a little tire and with the nugs hanging out, whatever.
Yeah, tire and the lug nuts and maybe like a half thing of like a fender, and they could have it in class, and you just jack it up on a jack, put it on the tire, and take it off and swap it out.
Do it in driver's ed.
Or driver's ed. That's
don't do it any kind of special shop class. Just do it in driver's ed. We learned all kinds of stuff when I was in driver's ed. We had like the old dinosaur equipment where.
I don't even know if kids still do driver's ed.
Yeah, they do.
They do?
It's just really expensive now for the insurance.
Okay.
When I did it was only $75, but still, back then that was a lot.
Okay, well, that makes
sense.
Now
it's way more than that.
All right. Well, I think the health risk stuff is a big thing. I think we know people in our family, and and to be honest with you, I had a health problem when I was young, so it like made me more conscientious of things I've done. I'm not perfect by any means, but I'm better about it, like being active or what I eat. Sometimes I indulge and
the knowledge to know what to do now.
Right. It's like if I eat and overeat one day, I just undereat the next day and try to eat better the next day. Like, we're all gluttons. We all enjoy food.
I like
most people, everybody likes pizza, everybody likes stuff. So I was like, it's like everything. I do it in moderation. Or I try to do the best in moderation I can.
There you go.
But, that's it about that. So I'll go to the next person. So this is going to be a big one. I feel people might get, they listen to our podcast. Hopefully no one gets offended over this, but they might a little bit. But everybody knows the Prego family member or girl at school or whatever, something that you met, friends, family, or whatever.
You got Prego too young?
they got pregnant very young.
Or mistakes
I
were
mean,
made.
Yeah, I think I don't remember if anybody in my family.
I did. I had somebody.
Did you?
Yeah.
Go ahead and you talk about it.
She was just barely out of high school, and she got pregnant, and she wasn't 100% sure who the father was, but she had an idea, which pissed my family off because my family was very Catholic. And, of course, her being pregnant so early, not knowing who the father is, and not being married, and all this stuff really, really pissed her off, pissed them off. You know, for a while there, like I said, I was the rebel. I was the one doing the bad things. But then once she got pregnant, I was off the hook. They started attacking her because she did that.
Well, because the responsibility comes with, I mean, after you're a young kid, you don't realize how much responsibility a child is.
Right.
A kid, you know. I mean,
sex is great, but dude, think of the after rewards or the after effects.
Yeah, I mean, we're all young and immature, and mistakes happen. It's like anybody's going looking out unless they're like trying to get someone pregnant or something.
Yeah.
Right? I think it's just part of life.
Right.
You know, stuff happens. This is one of those life lessons. You know, if you have a child when they're young, I don't care. You know, like it didn't bother me, but it is scary to think about. Like as an adult. And your child having a kid at such a young age, it's like, okay, how are you gonna take care of them?
Who's going to take care of it? What are you still going to school? Are you going to have a job? You have so much responsibility just before the child's even born.
You have to grow up at a very young age if you have a kid at a young age. And you know, some people can do it, but they have to have the backbone of their family to help them, right? And I'd say it's probably 60-40 or probably 70-30, where most families are like, no. You know, I'm not helping you. You're doing this yourself, or something. And then the other part of the family is like, oh, we're going to help you. You're going to get through this, whatever. Yeah. And maybe both families like jump in. I think it's been more eye-opening. It just depends on the families and what happens, right? If you're, I think, you know, and then some people, you know they can't and they have abortions, which I think is fine too at a young age, whatever. I think it should be a choice, whatever, both people, whatever. So why am I going to go down that political topic at all?
No.
But at the end of the day, it's like, yeah, I know people. Yeah, actually, I'm talking about now. My mom had my sister Sarah at a young age. She had him when she was 19 or 20, which I guess is considered young or whatever.
Yeah. Even for back then, yeah.
Yeah, for like in the 80s or whatever,
or
the 80s or 70s. You know, she got my sister on a float trip with my mom and dad were separated at the time or broken up, whatever. They weren't married back then. And she went on a float trip, and she had a one-night stand with the guy, and then she found out she was pregnant, and grandma and grandpa, you know, were livid. But they said, you know, you're getting married, and they said you're having the kid with this, and then like, we're getting married, like, you know, she's like, that's the way you're going to do it. Like, you're going to raise this child and do this stuff. So they never got married. But they were going to raise a child, and my mom said okay or whatever. So, you know, and that's how she had my sister at a young age. So she told me it was very difficult. But, you know, back in the day, you could think about this. People had to have kids at a young age because they had disease and all this other stuff. So they couldn't really take kids in a chance when they get older because they wouldn't live long. So, like, most parents would probably die between 30 and 40. So they had to have kids at, like, 15, 16, 17, 18, somewhere around there or whatever. So times have definitely changed, but I definitely know people who in school that happened to. A lot of them dropped out, or they had that program where they could have the kid and then they could still attend school, which I think that's a great thing, you know, for that kind of stuff to happen. But I think that's just going to be part of our culture and our environment forever. Like, there's going to be kids that have early sex, and this is what's going to the repercussions of it, right? Yeah. You know,
if you want to see a good example of girl getting pregnant in high school early, watch the movie Four Keeps. I forgot what the guy's name is, but it's basically a girl and a guy get pregnant, and they're both still in high school. Her dad, or he gets in a fight with her dad, he gets in a fight with his dad. His dad has nothing to do with him. How they get an apartment together, how they're trying to make their bills together, and him work and her not, and stuff like that, and still like go to prom and stuff like that afterwards. I forgot exactly what happens at the end. I don't want to spoil it if I did know. Yeah. But that's a perfect example of how things were in the 80s at least. The 90s, of course, is a lot different. Yep. But in the 80s, it was pretty rough. You know.
Well, the other thing about that, and we can jump off topic, is or to the next subject is that I've noticed as I've gotten older, and you'd think this would be better at our age, but it's not. There's just so many people I know that still can't have children. You know, it's weird. You know, with the advancement of technology and stuff, you would think there would be more available resources for people who are struggling having children or something that they would be able to. I mean, obviously there's like surrogates and stuff like that you can get or whatever, or adoption things you can go out there and do for it as well if you need to adopt a child or whatever. And to me, if you have a kid at a young age and you can't take care of them, I know it's easier said than done. At one point, give the kid up for adoption. There's a family that probably out there that would really, happy to have them or whatever. But then at the same time, I guess you got that mother-father bond, like you're giving away your
Yeah.
child or whatever, and you can't do anything. But at 16 years old, you might not be financially or mentally be able to do it. So I think that's always an avenue as well that people will kind of talk about doing as well. But again, that's a whole controversy
Yeah.
and discussion or whatever. And I don't care.
We
what
don't want to get into it.
No, not at all. I'm just saying that's become more prevalent. I guess I've seen at our age, but I know so many people that can have kids, and I feel so bad. And if you don't want to have kids, that's fine too. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Whatever. It's
it's your life. I'm not telling you how to run it.
No, exactly. And I just thought that was crazy. Like, there's these kids that are 16 years old, they're potent and getting kids. It's like, luckily at 16, I was probably still shooting blanks, so
Right.
I don't have to worry about it.
I was just trying to find a hole.
You're just trying to find a hole. You didn't find the American Pie?
Right. I found,
worry.
found some hands or twos or
Don't worry,
threes.
apple pie. So that's it. I mean, we all know someone who got pregnant
Right.
early and whatever, and I don't feel like I don't think people are bad because they got pregnant early. Some people look at these people like they're like the worst people in the world, and it's like, no, they made a mistake. They made and it's the hardest mistake to make because you have to bring another life in the world or whatever.
Right.
I think the thing I've learned from it is that, since I have a daughter, I'll just put her on birth control as soon as she has her period. I think that's a smart thing to do. I mean, kids are going to do it regardless. You can tell kids not to have sex and do this and the boogeyman or whatever else, but kids are going to do what they want to do at the end of the day. So if they're going to do that kind of stuff and try to get away with it, at least they're being safe about it, right?
Right.
I can tell my son to wrap it up all day, and he's probably not going to do it.
Right.
I was a kid once too.
Then tell him not to wrap it. Then and see what he does.
Don't wrap it so you get AIDS.
Right.
You could say something and try to scare him. So
What else? That or else they say don't wrap it so he does.
Yeah, I mean,
does the opposite of what you say.
The only way I could think about me scaring my kids is just tell them about pillow pants.
Yeah.
And they're troll pussy.
Mr. Fiend.
Mr. Fiend. So might eat their dick if you stick it in there without getting the approval of their parents to take it out when they're 16 or 21. It falls out. That was the story, right? What he said.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah,
I got
okay.
I said. We always reference Kevin Smith.
Well,
because he's so truthful.
It's very truthful. He was around that age. What is his name?
Elias.
Elias, right? He's around that age where he had a girlfriend, and he wanted to ask him about having sex with his girlfriend. He told him he couldn't because she had a troll pussy, and he's like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
Him and Randall going back and forth. Randall's like, "What the fuck?"
It was pretty weird, but it's still hilarious.
Oh yeah, definitely. Clerks 2, if you guys don't know.
Yeah, Clerks 2, one of the best. So the next topic, we'll go off the pregnant world. This is a big one. I think everybody knows somebody in their family like this, or even friends like this. The one who owes everyone money or favors.
Yes,
right.
Always.
There's the people in our life, and I'm not going to name names with this one because just in case someone in my family does listen to this, whatever.
I know who you're talking about already.
All right, but there's someone in our family that always is like they're always destitute. They always need money, whatever. They always got a
They
problem.
always need somebody. They can't do it themselves.
Right, they have to be dependent on someone else. They need a situation, and there's different between like needing help and needing help for something that's relevant or whatever. And there's someone who just always needs money for something, and they're very good at conning people getting money, like their family. It's mostly, I would say, childs with their parents, and parents give in because it's their kids, right?
Right.
But yes, I knew someone personally that is the master at conniving people to get money. It depends on the situation, stuff like that. I'm talking about when I was a kid going through stuff or whatever. So I'll just leave it at that. I'm not going to get too into the weeds about it. But, yeah, there's always someone and there's someone who's friends too, and I'll let you speak to this next, is as I've gotten older, like my friends or the friends I had for a long time, or, they're more acquaintances now, when we would plan stuff, I would be always the first person to plan it and put out the money. And then even when I would do like hockey teams, right? This is a great analogy I can use. I would get a hockey team, and we get 10 guys that want to play, but 8 would only want to pay. Another 2 would want to just sub or whatever, because you know how it is. People want to play, but they don't want to pay. So I always
Right.
I need payers, not players. It's kind of turned into like a joke with with us in the league, and I'm sure this is with any type of like softball, bowling, whatever.
Anything
That's
going out to eat even.
Right. So I would get him, and I was like, okay, well, these guys will be always my sub list or whatever because they never want to pay. And these are the guys, and if they pay, even if they're not the best, they're always going to play because they're
paying.
they're adults.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
adults, right?
Yeah.
So if you want to play, you got to pay.
Yeah.
And there's always people you got to chase down for the money. And there's always people that want to wait to pay to the end. So that always hit home with me because I dealt with that for 3 years when I ran a team or whatever. And I stopped doing it because I got sick of babysitting adults as kids. It's like, dude, can you fucking pay? Like,
Right.
like I get it. It's like it's already like 8 weeks into the fucking session. We only got 12 games, so it's like 4 more weeks. We got to get paid up, and if not, sometimes they would skeet away and not pay. And then we would be stuck with extra money. It's like, okay, either I pay it, and there's a couple times I did pay it because I didn't want everybody else to feel
right.
destitute. And the other guys were like, yeah, I'll throw in a couple extra, $10, $20,
Right.
to pay it off, and we'll get someone else in the team. That's the best way I could say. It's like someone who always owes money. That's the analogy I was going to use for it.
Well, the analogy I had was going out to eat with a bunch of friends, and you order the lobster, and I'll order I don't know, grilled cheese, and then at the end you're like, okay, let's split the check. Like, split it as in what we pay for or what? No, let's just divvy it up. Like, no, you got a $50 meal, something in the meal. I got $5. What the hell, right? That's some of my friends have done that shit before.
I've never had my friends do that. If that happens, we discuss it before, but it doesn't surprise me that people do that kind of shit.
I've had family members do very, very similar things where they, we invite them all out to go do something and they don't give us anything in return. I mean, if it's gas money, even it's something. Whenever I go out and do something with somebody, I try to compensate them somehow. If it's not money, if it's maybe doing something for them or something.
Yeah,
but it's just go ahead.
No, it's like keep going.
I'll say it's just there's always a family member that owes people money like that.
It's 100%.
They're moochers.
Yeah, they're moochers, or they don't want to have money, or they don't have the money. And it's funny come to find out, a lot of people who don't want to pay always have money. Yeah. Like they're really like stubborn, like just with their money, and they're like, okay, well, they don't feel like they should have to pay, or they're just really weird about it. It's like I don't know if it's a phobia that some people have or whatever, or it's
just straight up assholes. I've read stories on Ebon's World so many times of. Like, I'll give the one example is there's a group of five or six girls who always went out to eat on Friday nights. They always went to the most nicest restaurants, stuff like that. Their bill would be $400 or $500, whatever. And one girl would never pay for anything. She doesn't even offer to pay for the tip, or parking, valet, or whatever, any of that shit. So this happened for 2 or 3 months or whatever. So finally, the other girls got together and said, "Hey, you know what? I have a plan. Just go along with it. Just whatever. Just bear with me on this." So they go to the most extravagant place in Vegas or some shit like that. The bill's like $1,500 or something like that. The girls that never paid they're all at the table. The girls who always paid went to the bathroom, quote unquote,
and left
and left her with like $1,500 bill, and then she got all pissed off, calling them. They're not answering their phone, not answering the test, nothing like that. They made her pay for that shit, and then I guess they never became friends after that. Friends any longer after that.
Karma and taste of their own medicine at the end of the day, right? So I get that. To me, this is something that's personally happened to me as well. Is my bachelor party when I got married, we went to Vegas, okay, and I was kind enough to me and my brother-in-law split going to the strip club, all right, and it was a pre-package, so we had 10 or 12 guys going with me, and we went, and everybody had to pay. I think was like about $500 because we got bottle service with alcohol. We had a bunch of alcohol alternate between beer and bottles. A VIP section room, and it's obviously VIP, so the girls know to come there, that they're there for a bachelor party or whatever they're doing there, and so everybody had to pay. So the funny thing is the way I set this up, because I knew it would work, is my brother-in-law, he paid half, I paid half, or he paid for a couple guys, and I paid for a majority of it, and then everybody paid me back, right? Because they're adults.
Paid for a couple guys, huh?
Yeah, paid for a couple dudes. So what he did was they all worked for him, right? Because he was his own business owner, and all they had to do was out of each paycheck give him like $100, and then this was 8, 12, 9 months in advance. Right. They didn't pay him, right? And they worked for him. They came to Vegas, went to the bachelor party and whatever, and then they ended up not paying him. So I felt bad. So I paid my brother-in-law and said, "Here's the money," or whatever. Right. I fronted him or the rest of the money. And then I had to track down these guys, and one of the guys ended up paying me, and the other guy gave me like half of it and never paid me the rest. And then we just stopped talking, being friends. Like I'm still cordial with him, but I was like, dude, you're what? And it's like, why would you not just pay me? It's like, you worked for the dude. I'm like, he could have just siphoned it out of your paycheck.
$10 a month.
Just whatever it was. It wasn't even that much money. It's like you could have paid it. Each paycheck $50 to him. It's your boss. Here you go. Save it up. It's only $500.
Right.
So I ended up having I eat up $1,000 at the time. I ended up eating I think $250 or almost $300, and I was like, this is the last time I pay for stuff going forward. Like that was like one of the big straws going forward. I'd have done it at the hockey team as well, but that was a big life lesson for me, because I'm like, dude, I just had to fork out $1,000 out of nowhere.
Right.
It's like my brother-in-law needed the money or nothing, but it was just the principle of the thing, right? So
exactly.
I guess we all know people that are kind of like that, friends, family, whatever. It just sucks because once you do that once and burn somebody, they don't forget that kind of stuff, man. Especially when it comes to money. Like then you won't be invited out to do things or participate in things, and unless people offer and say, "Hey, I'm going to pay for you this time, whatever," and then you're just doing it nice. Like I did it for friends, whatever. I'll pay for their food or pay for their movie tickets, whatever. I don't have a problem because I want to spend time with them and hang out with them. As a gesture of being a loyal friend. Sometimes I just do it just to be nice, whatever, you know. Or I might have extra money on me. I'm just feeling good. It's burning a hole in my pocket. I want to go spend some money or something.
Right.
But that's it. I mean, do you know any other stuff that? But
we've hit it.
Okay, I've hit it like your mom.
Oh.
So okay, we'll move on from that one. This is a big one. The racist.
We all know a racist.
We all know a racist,
In the family.
and definitely in the family for sure. I think this is kind of a double-edged sword topic in my opinion, because I think as a young kid, kids find it funny to be like outspoken and racist, especially in video games or stuff like that.
Right.
But they don't. It's behind closed doors, so anybody says whatever.
Yeah, they don't think somebody's going to come after them.
Right, because they got a username and nobody's going to say anything. So I think it's like the online game stuff. Everybody's like a closet racist, like screaming like words and stuff, the N word or retard or whatever you want to call it, whatever, the F word or whatever, and they say whatever that's like hurtful to people and whatever, and just because they're angry or just because they're trolling or just for be fun. And you got the other people that are out in public that are just very judgmental and they'll say whatever and they don't give a shit who hears them, whatever. And I think that's more the older people. I think people as they get older, you know, grandma and grandpas or just people that are stuck in their ways, they're like, I don't give a fuck. Like, you know, they'll call someone out and just say how it is, and
they're just so set in their ways. That's how it is.
Yeah, I think some people grow up in a certain era and time, and they're just it's kind of ingrained in them. And other people, I think, if something happens to them, or whatever, they associate everybody as the same type of person after that happens, and they label everybody as in this bucket or whatever. So it's just like, you know, you did this, everybody is now like this, you know.
Right.
In my family, I think everybody behind closed doors is a little bit of prejudice. I don't care who you are. I don't think there's any person out there that's perfect. I don't care if you're out there marching for BLM or if you're, you know, whatever your movement or cause is. I think every day, even those people that do that, I think everybody's got a little bit of prejudice and racist. And some people are, you know, it's more behind closed doors like me and you. If we'd sit here and talk off air or whatever, we would have things to discuss. But at the end of the day, nobody goes out and really expresses it publicly. It's more behind. I think the internet's really a big cause of it, you know. But there is people out there nowadays that'll just say it, you know, whatever it is. And some people are just like married to their political parties too, and I think that has a lot of stuff to do as well with it as well, right?
Oh yeah.
What about you? You know,
I was gonna say, you know how you know who the racist is in your family?
How?
They always look around before they tell you a joke.
That is true, but I think that's very true with a lot of things. So because I think if they're really racist, they just say it and they don't care who they defend.
Exactly.
I think that's a good joke what you said. I think it is funny, but like you said, like, if they're in a safe space, they'll just say whatever they want, right?
Not even in a safe space. They'll be out in the public calling people the N-word and stuff like that.
No, I know that, but I meant like in a safe space environment, like us behind closed doors, you'll say whatever, right? And sometimes people are just. I think most time people do it just to get a laugh or just to see or a reaction to see what people say. But then there's other people that really mean it. They're like, no, this is what I really mean. And they're like, oh, okay, well. You're, you know, like, okay, so now I labeled you as this or whatever, so now you're this. But
thanks, Hitler.
I think everybody. It's just what it is. I think everybody has their judgmental and prejudice.
Everybody's got hate in them, and racist is pretty much hate.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, I think the thing is, and we don't keep talking to subject because this is such a sore subject with everybody in the world nowadays, but I think there are always people who are racist, but I think majority of people in America, you know, nowadays, or just around the world, I think a lot of people are not racist. I don't think they have time to worry about being that stuff. And most people, if you're a good neighbor and a good person, then people are good to you. I think that's just the way it goes. Like, and I think a lot of people don't see color like people used to as much, like in, you know, even the early 60s or 50s or whatever. Mm-hmm. I think nowadays everything's become more normalized. Now, obviously, you're always going to have their extremes. You go on the media and social media and everything else. They're always going to play those games that for gotcha journalism and try to get people to likes or whatever else, you know, whatever. White cop beats a black guy up or a black guy beats a white guy, and like which one's going to get more traction, so let's play that one or whatever. Right. That's kind of shit I'm talking about, right?
Right.
So I hate that kind of stuff at the end of the day, and honestly, I don't have time for that kind of stuff. So
Ain't got no time for that.
Yeah. So we all know one. This one's going to be the big one for me. The next topic. So we'll move off the racist topic, but I think everybody knows somebody personally that their friends, family, someone in school, whatever. Right. This next one, everybody knows someone in their family like this, the drunk.
Oh God, yes.
Right. So I think depending on your family and who they come from, I think either people go through phases where they drink a lot, or they might be Catholic and they might drink a lot, because I think Catholic families are always used to, like, it's like a normal thing that everybody is like drunk or
gather around social drinking.
When they get around social drinking, they all go hard and get hammered or whatever.
Right. For Jesus.
Yes, for Jesus. But I think a lot of times too, the drunk to me is someone who just loves to drink. But they you know, and I think these are different forms of being a drunk too. Like there's some people that can't control their alcohol; they just drink and they don't know when to stop. There's people that drink every single day. There's people that drink because they probably just enjoy it socially or whatever, and they just drink until they get drunk every single time or whatever. I'm sure there's more forms of alcoholism that I'm not speaking on, but I think the biggest one I would say is usually it's a mom or dad or like a brother or sister or something that that just has drinking problems, right?
Yeah.
Or a family member.
It's just sad that like almost all the topics we've touched on, I know someone in your family like that.
Well, yeah, I mean,
mine's not so nice either, but still, it's just I know exactly who you're talking about on most of the ones you said.
Yeah, but I mean, I think if you ask anybody in their family, everybody knows somebody personally, friend wise or family wise, that it's like that. Yeah, I'm not naming names or doing anything, but I think some people struggle with it because drinking is a social norm that's acceptable.
It's a way to get not to be yourself, basically. Some people like to get drunk because it makes them not themselves.
Right. I think there's a lot of introverted people that have a couple of drinks and they're more outgoing and outspoken, and people enjoy listening to them and having fun with them, and that's the only way they know how to be social around people is drinking. And it's ingrained in our culture, and it's marketed since we've been kids. It's the way to have fun. Everybody drinks to have fun. You feel included. Like you feel like you're the outcast if you don't drink. I think sometimes so people that's why they drink. Obviously, people drink because they're depressed. Money problems, family problems.
Nobody says they like to drink the beer just for the taste.
Some people like to drink for the taste. I don't acquire a beer taste, but there's certain beers I drink that are good, and most of them, like, man, they're okay. It's just drinking a beer, It's nothing great. And then obviously that's why no one really drinks alcohol, like whiskey or anything. Some people drink them straight. Some people have to mix them, whatever, or whatever else. It's like I can't drink that shit straight. It's awful to me. But I'm wuss. I don't care.
That's fine.
To me, there's always different forms of people that are doing it, but I think the norm around it is a lot of people use it. It's their vice, at the end of the day. I think we brought it up on multiple times in podcasts talking about people drinking, but to me, I'm not a big drinker anymore. So I've been there and done it for a long time. It doesn't do anything for me personally. I like to have a couple sometimes socially, but there's always people that when I'm around them, family members for sure, that they just like to indulge in it, I guess I could say in better words, and they just have no self-control. Yeah. And to me, it's embarrassing, but also, that's their way of letting loose and having fun. I hate judging, but sometimes it's like I end up being the babysitter, or I have to be the adult, when it comes down to it. So
I hate that sometimes.
I think that's the thing that bothers me most about it. It's like if they would just be adults, I wouldn't have a problem with it. I think that's what it is.
Yeah. You should take care of themselves, but they can't because they're too drunk laying on the floor, being stupid. We've all been there.
We've all been there, and I think everybody goes through those times. But I also think that's why a lot of people, as they get older, they push these people away. Like they don't want to hang around them because every single time it's the same story, different, or same song and dance. They're with these people, so they kind of exclude them. They're like, I don't want to do that because every time we hang out with this person, so and so does this or whatever, know. So that's the way I look at it, right? And then there's our people that are, what they call it? They can handle. They're very mentally strong. They can be drunk, and you would never know they're drunk.
Exactly.
They're
that's how I used to be. That's how bad I was.
Functioning alcoholic, we'll call it, right? I know people like that personally too. That did that for a long time, and I could never tell, but I could always smell it on them and see. But unless they were like stumbling or falling around, I couldn't tell that they're drunk but they were drunk all the time. So I mean, if you can speak on it, go ahead.
Yeah, I've been there a lot. I used to drink a bottle of Jack a day almost, and I'd be like I am right now, just normally function. Like you said, you smell it on me. That's it. Or if I told you. But yeah, it's for some people it's easy to do. Other people it's really hard on them. Like especially with my health health shit nowadays, I don't do it anymore. Not health wise, it costs so damn much because it would take so much to get me drunk. That's why I used to tell people to come to my house, because I already had something. I'd rather spend $20 or $20 on a bottle of Jack and $2 on a 2-liter than go to the bar and keep drinking them for $5 a piece, where they're watered down 90% of the time. You know, it'd take me forever to get drunk and piss away my money.
Right.
You know.
I agree, and I think as you get older, you become a smarter drinker or a smarter person in general. That's why everybody likes to have parties themselves. I mean, who wants to go pay at the bar $100 for drinks when you can go get it for $20 and have the same experience, right? And the comfort of your own home. So
and not get watered down.
Yeah, get watered down. So, got anybody else to talk about? Or anything else to talk about drunk stuff?
Drunk stuff, no.
Okay.
The next one.
Okay. So, I think everybody knows somebody. If you don't, you must live in a cardboard box. But I think that's just a topic I think everybody knows they can hit home with in any family around the world. So here's the next one is the divorce one in the family. So there's ones that are just divorced, whatever, they go separate ways. But there's the extreme one that's been divorced like 3 times, married 3 times.
Oh, yes.
So I'm trying to think in my family if there's been someone who's been divorced multiple times and married multiple times. I would say...
I see a lot of breakups and some, like, you know, boyfriend. So many boyfriends.
Yeah, I think... Well, that's not really divorce, but yes, we can say that too. Relationships. Maybe people struggle with relationships.
There you go.
We'll say it with that. Just not divorce. So, because there's many people that, as they get older, and it might be a mutual thing to get divorced because either for kids it's better for them, or their mental health, or just they're going separate ways and they're growing apart.
Right.
I think there's a lot of those, but I think there are a lot of people that get married for the wrong reasons, and they at a young age either because they have kids out of wedlock, or they just get you know, they cheat or something happens, right? And they fuck things up, or it's money or stresses or whatever they can't handle. So being married is not, it's just like kids. It's a fucking job, and you work at it every single day.
Commitment.
Right?
I mean, come on, man.
And the same thing with relationships. It's the same way. Just you're now legally tied together, right? But yeah, I think there's some in our families. Everybody knows that, you know, they have a hard time struggling finding the right person for them. They they know who they should be looking for, but they go for the same thing they always want. Like, we can use girls as an example. Like, I want the guy that's 6 foot tall and has tattoos and is a jerk to me.
Hard worker.
You know, whatever. And
has a lot of money, six figures.
No. I'm saying like what they're attracted to.
Yeah.
But in reality, it's like they want someone who's, you know, got good money, got a stable job, whatever. But they always go for the guy who is good looking, whatever, but just hasn't have a stable job, whatever. I'm just making up, you know, social constructs that people like usually go off, especially at a young age. And then like, the girl will be like, yeah, I know I need to do this, but I do this. And the same thing goes vice in the versa with men. Men do the same thing. Like, I want to go for a girl who's more into herself and shallow or whatever, that wants to go to the club and do this and that, you know, and they don't want to be chased all the time, and instead of buying the girl that might be want to settle down and have kids or whatever, but that's what they're looking for. So, or they're just shitty. They just don't know how to choose people, or they just don't want a relationship because they're afraid of commitment. So I don't know. I don't want to name anybody personally, obviously, because, you know, we do have family members that listen to this podcast or whatever, but there is people in my family that are like that. They've had very big struggles with relationships, and I think some of it's part of it's a two-way street where a lot of times they're probably got their own underlying issues, and also they don't know how to choose people correctly, or they don't know what they're looking for, right? You know, so.
Yeah,
I got friends like that too.
Oh yeah, definitely. I can think of a bunch of friends right now. But yeah, for family members and stuff like that, it's just people just like you said, they grow apart. There's a lot of people that are together so long, but then after a few years, they're just it's like, this is not what I want. Well, like, why'd you start it in the first place? You know, you always can question them all you want, but it's just it's not you. You know, when I was at a younger age, when I was ready to settle down earlier than most people nowadays, because, you know, I wanted to do it around my 30s. I'm like, well, you know, I'm not getting any older. I need to find the right relationship. I need to, you know, with the white picket fence, all this crap. But I was, you know, running around with girls, you know, almost barely 21, and it affected me a lot because it realized that, okay, they have daddy issues. I have younger issues, stuff like that. So I strayed away from that. And it like I said, it affected me big time about everything, about all the decisions I made, what job I kept, what you know, how what to do in my house and stuff like that. And it's just, you have to have I guess you could say, not a lot of relationships, but a good amount, so you learn what you want, learn what you need, and what you need to work on and stuff like that. It's a very what's the word I'm looking for?
trials and tribulations.
Yeah, basically, yeah. You have to try things before in order to see if you like it or not.
I think to me, it's better when you do it at a young age. To go through it. You go through the hard breakups. You know, you meet someone, you might fall in love with them. They cheat on you, or something happens. You guys grow apart, or whatever goes on. And now this ain't the same for everybody, but I think a lot of people, there's people that get together in high school and they're married. You know, when they get older in life, and they might find their life mate or partner right away. But for most people, I think that's part of life growing. Is you go up, you meet these people, you like them for certain reasons, you want to date around. It's time to do it when you're young before you get married, but it also teaches you, like in each relationship, like what you like, what you don't like, whatever. And some people figure that out, and some people never figure that shit out.
Right.
And that's why they're in their 30s or 40s still dating, trying to figure out what they want, or they just have given up and they just said, well, I guess nobody wants to be with me.
There's some people that I think this is very rare, but I actually know a good handful of people who, like, their first and third husband or wife were each other. Like so and so married Frank in the first marriage, divorced him, but then got married again to Frank the third time. Mm-hmm. It's like you knew what you were getting into the first time, you divorced, but then you went back.
I think people realize they had what they were looking for, and they didn't realize it, and they move on to something that the grass is always greener type situation, and then they go back and they whatever. Or some people, like you said, they don't learn from their mistakes, and they go back and they fuck everything up. So I mean, it probably could be two things like that, because there's times where I dated people when I was younger, and I went back to them later after they cheated on me or something happened, and I was like, I really miss her.
Yeah.
Well, I think a lot of times you get comfortable with your surroundings and settings. So like you're like, oh, I really like this person. I really like what they brought. I miss their qualities and values. And this other person, like you think they're going to be everything, but really you just like them because you want to fuck them or you want to do whatever with them. And then you're like, you get with them, you're like, this person is nothing what I thought they were. And you're like, I miss what I used to have. And you realize that what you had was good. Yeah. You know, I've had that happen before too, but at the same time, I think you made a great point. It's like you have to go through those kind of things in life, right, to experience stuff. But the divorce,
just do more than others.
Divorce, one thing gets me, and I'll just say this, you know, and not knocking at anybody that goes through it or whatever. You do what you want, but once you get divorced, I think once you get married once and get divorced, I don't know if I could get married again after going through the whole thing. And like, obviously, I'm not going to go through the huge wedding and doing all this stuff, and especially if you have children or whatever. But I think to me, it's such a big commitment and all this other stuff that at the end of the day, going through that and trying to go through it again, and like how many times can you get married and divorced? It's like one time's enough, in my opinion. Like if you get divorced, whatever, you can date people and do whatever, and you can stay committed to that person without getting married. You don't have to get married unless that's what you want to do. Great, you know, those are your choices. But to me, it's another fucking just a whole.
Another can of worms.
Yeah, just a can of worms. And not saying there's other soulmates out there for people. I think there is. I think there's more people that you can marry that you're meant to be with or whatever you can be with. And there's always things that you're going to wish you had with your partner that other partners have or whatever. I think everybody goes through that as well. But the majority of people, I think, there's a lot of people that don't even get divorced. They just stick together with their partner because it's good for the kids or that's what they're comfortable with and they don't want to do anything else. And they know that they're safe with that partner or whatever. I think there's people that are unhappy that do that kind of shit too. But the divorce one in the family, I know one person in our family that is like that, but I think it was just the same thing. It was immaturity and stuff like that happened or whatever. And now I don't think she'll ever get married again. But I will say I do have, more friends that I know that just, dude, they can't get no luck at our age finding someone that's like that. I think the social norm of dating online and finding people has fucking ruined dating with people. I think that's what they get such a bad taste in their mouth because I'm just going to say this. Women can get mad or whatever they want at me, but just because my experience from my guy friends telling me is a lot of women in their 30s, they have had kids. Most of them take fake pictures with filters because I don't see really guys doing this.
Cropping,
right? Cropping, whatever. They take a picture from a certain angle, and they see something, like the girl's really pretty, but they get there and they're not exactly what they said they were, and then it's like, okay, well, I got fed fake news, you can say at the end of the day, and they're like, the guy's like, well, okay, well, all my pictures of me are me. You know, you and like they're you, but they're altered in a way where it's like it's false advertisement at the end of the day. So I think they get that kind of too, and then I think sometimes expectations as you get older are unrealistic. You know, the girl's like, I want my guy to be this, or the guy's like, I want my girl to be like this, and it's like, how about you just meet someone organically through it and without all these, pros and cons of what you're looking for in a relationship, and if they meet your standards and you meet them, you date them, right? I don't want to date someone based off their social stuff, whatever, online or whatever. I'm not dating anybody, but I'm just saying, if I was in that situation, I could see why going online and dating would be fucking a nightmare nowadays.
Yeah, Because you got to think of all these things like Bumble and Tinder and all these other ones. People are just let's just look for sex and that's it.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what Tinder started out as.
Yeah.
Bumble migrated because people are looking for serious relationships. Now Tinder apparently now is more not just hookups. It's people trying to date too. Yeah. And you got Christian Mingle and
Farmers Only,
FarmersOnly.com, and you got Grindr, which you're on.
Oh yeah.
And
I use your picture though.
Use my picture?
Yeah.
You probably get a lot of hot dudes.
Oh yeah.
That was gay. But
not at all.
It's definitely a weird time to be like this. I could see why there's people that are divorced or why, because here's another thing I think it leads to divorce too, and then we'll shut up about this topic is I think because of social media, and they've done studies on this, you can rekindle relationships with people from your past. Like a lot of people that had like ex-boyfriends or girlfriends, and they talk to them from social media, whatever. And sometimes it spawns. It respawns like these old feelings. They might be married in a relationship, and they might leave them for their ex-boyfriend they've dated in high school, and they're like, "What the fuck?" Because they want to go back to something they had, or grass is always greener type situation. And I think that happens a lot with people too.
Yeah, well, they see those all those damn Hallmark movies. Yeah, that shit happens all the time where they're together and
like, oh, that's my first love from high school, and
she got fat and then she got real fucking hot.
Yeah, something weird like that happens. I think that kind of is why there's a lot of more divorce and stuff and nowadays, or just people that are not single. I think a lot of people just can't trust anybody because it's just. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of people probably catfish people nowadays, right?
Oh yeah.
What a weird time after that MTV show came out, Catfish, and but it's like my buddy. I'm not gonna say his name, but he's on Tinder all the time. He tells me he stopped getting on Tinder, but he told me straight up that there's so many people that catfish people. And he goes, he doesn't know about guys doing it, but I'm sure guys do it all the time.
Oh, yeah.
He said there's a lot of girls that do it. He said it's really fucking weird. It's like they want attention and they want the stuff, but they never meet up, or if they do, they're just sending pictures or whatever. And it's like, dude, I wouldn't even play those games. It's like
it's stupid,
right? It's like why waste your time doing that kind of stuff?
Right.
Like, why not put energy and time into something that's more stuff? Not saying that's what he's doing, but he's just like, it's weird that people play games and do that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Well, people are assholes,
Well, I think there's a lot of people just bored too that just want a different excitement, tension and excitement. So, divorce. Anybody else in your family know anything crazy about it, or move on?
No, just not really. You can move on.
Mm-hmm. Your mom.
Yep. In the dirt.
So this is a good one. I think everybody kind of talked about. We'll touch on it for a second. The one people that disown. I mean, I think this kind of you can put this in many forms of what happens, but I think. I don't personally know anybody. Well, actually, yes, I do. I know one person in my family, and it's because he got really bad into drugs, and he was like supposed to be like the poster boy of like everything was going to be good, like good job, good family, good school, all that kind of stuff, and he went totally opposite direction, and he's better now, but at the time, I think his family, they kind of like disowned him for doing that because they were so disappointed for it happened, but at the same time, that happens, right? And I don't, people go through things like we're talking about, but I think it's the only person I know that's actually really been disowned. Not my family per se, but the part of my family,
right? The extended part of it.
Extended part of it, right?
Yeah, I know a particular person. I knew his sister, of course, first before he got disowned. Mm-hmm. But basically, he was turning into drugs, hookers. He did the bad stuff, so to say. Mm-hmm. And his family gave him so many chances. I mean, they gave him. He got out of jail one time, and he hit rock bottom. He had nowhere to go, no car, no job, no nothing. His dad set him up with everything. He got him a great salary paid job. He got him a brand new pickup truck, a motorcycle, all this shit. And then the kid still shit on him, And so his dad started taking things away. He took the truck away. Eventually took the motorcycle away and all these other things. He was just left with a job. And the kid fucked it up. It was one of the easy, like literally one of those jobs, kind of like from Horrible Bosses, where the kid just showed up to work and he got paid for just showing up. Mm-hmm. It's almost that easy of a job.
Yeah, see, that sucks. I know people personally like that too, that they've got everything handed to them in a silver spoon, or a gold platter or whatever you want to call a silver platter. I think it's sometimes families and people go through stuff where they're not taught to be like appreciative of stuff. Not saying this is everybody. I'm saying this is probably more true than not time, but I think people go through it and they get handed everything and they just they get bored with life, or or sometimes I think with some of these kids they do it for attention.
Yeah.
You know, or maybe they're pressed because their mom and dad work really well, or their brother or sister is the golden child, and they do everything right, and everything they get shit on because they don't do everything right. So they just they do it for attention. I think that happens a lot with kids.
Oh
or
yeah,
whatever,
definitely.
but,
Yeah.
I do know someone personally that had the same thing happen to him. Where like he couldn't do things right with his family, and like when he was young, but now him and his family are really good, whatever. And I think that's really good. You know, sometimes they go through shit, and some family members they get fed up with it. They try, and they want to believe them. They want to give them the benefit of the doubt. And I think that's the right thing to do, and try to help your children or whoever else. But I think people just get so burnt out. They want them to hit rock bottom to figure it out for themselves, and then maybe sometimes
Tough love.
I think sometimes that changes them. You know, and that makes them a better person because of it.
Well, not this guy. I mean, it's got so bad where like if when I used to live in St. Anne, I would say, hey, I won't say her name, but hey, I saw Mark the other day. He was running around Woodson. Who? Mark. Who? I'm like, damn, it's gotten that bad where she won't even acknowledge her own brother.
Jeez.
You know, his family's the same way. Mm-hmm. You know, his dad, the pickup he got him was he dropped it and put graphics, made it look a badass looking, like lowrider looking truck. The second his dad started disowning him, he just sold it. He didn't care.
That's what you got to do.
He got less than what he put in, a lot less than what he put into it, but he didn't care. He just wanted the thing of his life because he wanted something out of his life. Mm-hmm. And it's just, I mean, I feel for the guy, but at the same time, like, dude, your family helps you so bad, and you just want to fuck them. Mm-hmm. So you're on your own, man. He's even asked me for money before, and I was like, at that time I said no. I don't ever see him anymore. But.
Yeah, it sucks, and it sucks to see people that are good people go through that kind of stuff, and you want to help them because you're a good person. Most time people, but once you get burned once by them, you don't want to do it again because either you're letting them keep repeating their same bullshit, and
they're going to keep doing it. Yeah,
they're going to keep doing it, or there's no trust or foundation built them. But at the same time, it's like you don't want to see someone suffer and die or anything, or what they're going through. But you don't want to keep feeding into their lies and their bullshit. So I get it. I know people that are just like that. Yep. This will go to the next topic. I guess the one that you just own kind of bleeds into this. I guess is the liar you want to believe.
Oh God.
Right. There's always someone in the family who has got a story.
Compulsive liar. They always have something.
You know, there's a difference between someone telling you a white lie and then telling you I mean, lying's still lying, but to me, white lies are like little things, like, you know,
things,
like little things that don't matter. Like, you know, if I told my son that I had candy in the house, we'll give him candy later, and he forgets about it because he's 5. You know,
that's fine. Yeah,
that's a white lie to me. But you know, if someone's telling me that, like, hey, you loan me $500, I'm gonna give you $500 back, like we were talking about earlier, and you never give it back to me. One, it's a lie, and two, it's just, you know, it's the wrong thing to do. So. Or they tell you they need money for so-and-so, saying, like, I need $500 to fix this in my house or whatever, or my car, and they take it and they go blow it on drugs or beer or whatever else is, whatever. I think that probably happens a lot with family members, right? So
my mom was the epitome of that kind of liar.
Really?
Oh, God, yes, she was. Before her and my dad got divorced, she was cheating on him. Mm-hmm. She would go down to Georgia, visit her friend in high school, which she did. Well, she didn't mention that her friend had a friend for her. Mm-hmm. So, you know, she doing shit with him. And then I caught her one time because I went down to Georgia with her once, and they were together fucking around and stuff like that. And then I said I was gonna say something. Mm-hmm. She's like, "Oh no, he can't have sex. He was in an accident where he got tar splashed on his nuts and all that melted." Mm-hmm. I'm like, "What?"
How old were you when this happened?
I was not even 18 yet. I think I was 18, 19ish.
Yeah, your mom
she just said shit like that.
Straws.
That and another time when I had me and her shared a bank account because whenever I was doing touring stuff, I would always put money in the bank, and sometimes I wasn't home. I gave her the money
when you're a roadie,
and then have her roadieing or even playing guitar. Even I give her the money, and then she would deposit it. Mm-hmm. Well, one time she said she needed $1,500 to bail her boyfriend out. The 24-year-old or whatever it was, a couple years older than me guy. Mm-hmm. I was like, okay, sure, why not? You know, whatever. I get home from tour. I go to my job, go to work, come back home. I was paying my rent. A couple of days later, they got a hold of me and said, your check bounced. I'm like, that's impossible. I have like $20,000 in the bank or some shit like that. And they're like, no, your check bounced. I looked at my account. She took it all.
Fuck.
Yeah. And so I became homeless for about a week and a half. Basically, well, I was not really homeless. I lived inside the restaurant I was working at. I was in the bathroom, or lived in the dining area.
Dude, that's terrible.
Yeah,
So
because she
when
wanted.
is that when you moved to St. Louis after that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
So yeah, I mean that shit like that. It just pisses me off so bad. I go, if you needed that much, that badly, just ask for it.
she didn't.
I might have said no. I might have given you half of
her
it.
boyfriend wanted it.
Yeah, probably. But she did have to bail him out. I know that.
Yeah.
But you guys don't know the story. But basically, when I was 19, my mom was dating a 24-year-old, and she was 40 something at the time, and he was very, very, very rednecky and stupid.
The cougar is the guy.
That guy.
Is the guy with the lighter?
Yeah, that was the lighter. Oh God, I'm so fucking glad I did that,
dude. Well, that's messed up, and yeah, that's the stuff. It's obviously it's your mom, so you want to believe your mom.
You want to,
you're right? She's your blood, so you.
And I gave her so many fucking chances too, and it's just that just hit me so bad. And after that, I never saw her ever again.
Really?
Yeah, I moved back here in 2001, and she was still in Florida the entire time, and she died in 17, 18-ish, 2018, I think.
Did you go see her down there?
No, I didn't. You know, that's another reason why I didn't want to talk with my brother, because he was pretty much like she was. You know,
pulled the same stuff.
Yeah, he pulled not as bad as her, but he still did.
I mean, I hate to say this, but it's a product of your own environment. If your mom's teaching you to do that, you might learn to be the same way, right?
Exactly.
I'm not saying your mom was a bad person, nothing, but maybe she was going through hard times, or she just was going over, but she took advantage of you and did stuff. I mean, that happens to a lot of people, man.
And honestly, the only thing I really regret, the biggest thing with our falling out, was in 2016. I can remember this perfectly. I was in community college. I was doing my math final, the actual last day of my classes. And during my math file, my phone was getting blown up like crazy by her. So I texted her, I can't answer. I'm not even supposed to have my phone for one. I can't answer. I am in the middle of a final. I'll call you back. And she kept blowing up my phone. Then texted me, say, come on, I need to talk to you. I need to talk to you. It's very important. She's blowing up my phone even more. So finally, when I finished my math, my final, I turned it in. I walked out the door, called her, go, what the fuck do you want? Somebody better be fucking dead, because I was taking a math final. And she said, Grandma died. I was like, oh, fuck. Of course.
Oh, man, it's fucked up. Sorry.
So, no, you're cool.
Yeah.
It was weird, though, because she said that they actually came to St. Louis 2 days prior, and then when they got home from driving all the way from St. Louis to Florida, but they were trying to get a hold of Grandma, and Grandma wasn't answering her phone. So then they called my aunt to go check on her. My aunt found her.
Yeah, that's terrible, dude.
But I was like, fuck.
Well, I mean,
I laugh about it now because it's just like it was so nerve-wracking that I just wanted to pick up the phone, go, fuck you, leave me alone, and so bad. But I was, like I said, I was in the middle of my math final.
Well, I mean, at least you didn't lash out your mom, and it was for a valid reason. She was calling you so many times and doing stuff. But I get it. Like, the frustration. It's like, I'm trying to take a math final, Mom. Leave me the fuck alone. What do you want?
And call me a bad son if you want. I don't give a shit. Fuck you. I'm not saying I'm proud of this, but it's something I had to do. When she died, she had a stroke, basically. She died from complications from the stroke. It was down to my brother's decision if he should pull the plug or not. And immediately after he told me that, I told him, just go ahead and do it. Pull the plug. She's not going to make it. Because I didn't care. And like I said, if you want to call me a bad son, whatever, fuck you. I don't care. Call me what you want.
Well, I think
we just had such a hard falling out. It's just, she just got to me. I didn't care.
Yeah, I think I can't speak to it, but I'll just say, no one's walked a mile in your shoes. They went through what you went through growing up and other stuff, so nobody knows what your childhood was like or growing up. So that was your decision, your brother's decision. So, I mean, after having a stroke, she probably was, it's better not to be in a vegetative state, just being on life support. Right. So she's probably better off, going, not being alive, in my opinion. But that was your guys' personal family decision. So. Yeah.
It was up to him more than it was me, so because he was down there.
Yeah, so I think everybody in their family going back off. Thanks for the story. The liar you want to believe. I think you had a great topic with your mom about that. I had multiple friends that were liars to me about certain things, and it was all because of drugs. They wanted to do something. I give them money.
See, that's just.
But at the same time, I was just a good friend back then, and they took advantage of me. And as I got older, they apologized and stuff. Most of them luckily are still around. A couple of my friends aren't around because of it, but they would steal and do things. There's one friend I have that I thought was a close friend. He stole from me, and I got my shit back because of my friends, luckily. But I never talked to him again after that. I didn't forgive him because he didn't apologize or anything. My other friend that did it, I'm not going to name names again. He apologized. We rekindled a relationship, and we've been friends ever since. And I've never thought once like he was a bad person or anything. But he did lie to me about it because the drugs were overtaking. But he could have continued to do it for as long as he did. But he ended up, changing. But
Right.
I think everybody has those kind of people, man. They go through that lie about stuff. I know person in our family that lie about shit all the time. But
We won't say any names. I know what you're talking about.
We can say names.
Begins with an MM.
Yeah, I don't think there's anybody bigger liar in my family than that. And everybody in my family is disowned, but at the same time, it's like that kind of shit is ridiculous. It's all over money. We can talk about it. It's like money.
Yeah.
There's a reason why they say it's the root of all evil because
Exactly.
it divided our entire family over two people. I'll just say my mom and my mom's sister because of inheritance money. And to be frank about it, my sister-in-law, she is a financial advisor. She said that's the number one reason people have family fights because after people die or whatever, and she has to split up family assets, it's all about fucking money, man.
Oh, yeah.
And people won't talk to their brothers and sisters. And then, like, she said it's a common thing she reads about or sees about, like, they'll be dying on their deathbed, and they'll be like, oh, I should have never did this with your money. We lost all, like, 10 years of our life or 20
Right.
years of our life. And it's like, over money, it's like you can always make more, whatever, especially at a certain age. But yeah, people are insane over money. It's a materialistic type of world.
That's one thing I did with my brothers. Once my mom died, I didn't ask for any insurance money or anything. I know he needed it more than I did anyway at the time, but I didn't ask for it because I didn't care.
Yeah, because you're a juggalo.
I know, I'm an asshole.
Your father juggalos drinking that. What was that stuff?
Fago.
Fago. You're still following them around doing
Dude, that shit was good for the time, but so fucking sugary.
Fago?
Oh yeah, you can still find it. I think at Airworks.
Oh,
It's not horrible, but it's not great. I would choose Vess over Fago though. Any day.
I've never seen a Fago, so I just didn't even know they had them around.
There was a lot of different flavors that.
Dude, I remember Vess was a huge thing when we were kids in Walmart.
Exactly.
Now you can't find Vess in Walmart.
No, you can't. You could find it at some of the Chinese restaurants we go to, which is weird, and some certain mom and pop stores, but you really can't find it very much anymore.
Yeah, Vess isn't around anymore. But
I miss Vess, dude. The fucking orange was the best.
The orange and what people like the cream one, right? The cream soda or whatever.
Yeah.
I remember that was a kid. That was
I was pissed. Okay, this is gonna be a little off topic. I was so pissed that they changed the cream soda. It used to be pink, and it tasted so much better than the brown cream soda. Something about it, I don't know what it was. Is the recipe or something? They changed it when they changed the color, or just the caramel coloring changed it, whatever. But I love the pink version of the Vess cream soda.
Yeah, I guarantee you, if you looked it up on the internet, there's other people that have said this, and someone's got the reason why they changed or what changed, the chemical, the flavors, whatever.
Yeah.
Your mom's vagina's in there or something.
Yep.
So
It's pretty dry.
yeah, it's pretty dry.
She got cremated, so it was pretty dry. At least I hope she did.
So I bet that's true because I remember when I was a kid, I remember all my friends loved that cream soda.
Oh yeah, fuck yeah, dude.
I remember always people like, oh, cream soda or whatever. I remember in school getting cream soda and like, when I went to grade school or whatever, but
Let's see if you know this. I know this is off topic still. Talking about sodas. Okay. You remember Slice. You drink Slice anymore? I've seen it much.
No.
Okay. Well, have you drank it before?
Yes.
Okay. Well, back in the day, I was watching Silver Bullet. They had an apple slice as one of the flavors. I was like, apple? No way. And I looked it up. Apple sure enough did. I remember them having orange. There was a Dr. Pepper, a cola, strawberry, all different fucking flavors you could possibly think of. But I couldn't remember the apple one. But when I saw that on Silver Bullet, I was like, holy fuck, I'm old if I remember that.
You are old.
Because that was like 1982. I was like, fuck, man. And then I saw a thing I was watching earlier before you got here.
Yeah.
The old label for Mountain Dew. I was like, holy fuck, I remember it was that label. Oh, man, that's when Mountain Dew tasted so fucking sweet. Nobody like my family liked it but me. They call it frog piss. And I was just like, wow, man. I'm feeling old here.
You like frog piss?
I love frog piss.
All right, so I'm going to get back on topic.
Yes,
frog
go
piss.
ahead.
So we talk about the liar. So we all know someone. This is another one. I mean, I'll try to go faster on some of these so we're not so long-winded on some of these, but I guess it's just what it is.
We always get off topic. You know that.
Yeah. The smart one. There's always a smart one.
Smart ass or smart, period?
Just smart.
Okay.
I mean, like
Educational.
Educational, like just witty or smart. Maybe a savant. I don't know. Maybe not a savant. It's a big stretch. But someone who's just very intelligent, in the family. In my family, I'd say
You're pretty up there.
I'm up there, but I don't consider myself that intelligent and smart.
Because you don't see it from the outside.
Yes, I don't. I'm not book smart, I would say. I'm not. I think there's different types of smarts. I think I'm more street smart and hands-on smart, techie smart or whatever. But book smart, not as much. But obviously, I'm not going to talk about myself and pat myself in the back. I'm like, yeah, I'm fucking smart or whatever. Because I don't feel that way. But I do feel like there's people in my family who are very smart.
Dan's very smart.
Huh?
Dan's cool and smart.
Yeah, my father-in-law?
Yeah.
Yeah, he is. I think, I could say my wife is, but she's very book smart. I mean, she's got a doctorate degree. How many people do you know that you can call a doctor? I mean,
nobody.
but obviously she's not a doctor per se, but she has her
PhD.
doctorate degree, PhD, right? Which I think is really cool and is awesome. And she wanted to pursue it and get it, which is fine. After my bachelor's, I was like, fuck it. I hate school. I don't want to do it anymore.
I think my associates, and I was the same way.
It's cool.
Yeah.
But to me, at the end of the day, it's a piece of paper. It doesn't really identify who you are. I mean, 'cause I know people that have their master's degree and they're fucking retards. So
maybe.
yeah. And you can, and obviously your degree's in a specified area, so you might have a finance degree and be awesome in finance, but you might not have to tie your shoes and and chew bubble gum at the same time. And I don't know how many people I know just working in the tech world. I think it's opened my eyes even more. And I wasn't naive or dumb to it at all, but how many people I know that make 3 times the amount of money that I do, but they can't figure out how to work a computer because they didn't grow up with computers, or there's people that are our age that grew up with computers that are just computer illiterate and they just don't grasp it. But if you put a book in front of them and told them to read this, they could grasp everything in the book and be awesome. So I think it's one of those things. Or there's just people that are just dumb all over. They don't have any of it. They don't have common sense. They don't have the smarts. I think that's just the world we live in nowadays, and it's kind of like do or die. But I think, to me, as we've gotten older, I think the education system is broken. I think a piece of paper is stupid. I don't think it really makes you as smart as people let you off to be, because I think we've seen the power of the internet and entrepreneurs nowadays. They're 100 times more innovative and intelligent than the person that went and got their doctorate degree or their, whatever. And I'm not trying to knock anybody for doing what they're doing, but I think the smart ones in people's families, you can define smart in so many different ways nowadays, where before it used to be just a one-centric minded thing where it was like, oh, you went to school, you got this degree, he's smart. Right. And that's what it was. I think that's how to define smart. So I say, yes, there's educated people in my family that are intelligent, but not as intelligent as I would say that I define intelligence nowadays. And it depends what category of intelligence you're looking at. I mean, there's people that are trivia smart, but they're not really smart. They might know a lot of trivia. Cool, trivia. Does it make you intelligent? Sure. I think it makes you educated.
Yeah, trivia.
Yeah, and trivia. But are you just are there's people who are just really intelligent that know everything about anything, and they know it, they're very well at trivia, like Jeopardy. That's a smart person to me in that kind of.
Oh, fuck yeah.
In that kind of a way. But go ahead.
So yeah, there's a lot of people that are like that are more street smart than book smart, honestly, because that's how things are. But nowadays, I don't even know what you could call it. Phone smart. I mean, because some kids can program their phones, make apps and games and shit like that. But then, like you said, you drop them off downtown with $1 to their name, or they're dead.
Yeah.
$100 to their name, they're dead.
Yeah.
I used to say that all the time about my brother and I. Was that he was very book smart, I was very street smart. You drop me downtown with $1, I'll get home and I'll have change.
Mm-hmm.
You gave him $1,000, he would die in 3 seconds.
Yeah.
Just because some people don't know how to. What's the word? They're smart at their own levels and their own things.
Yes.
Even if you teach the same 2 kids the same 2 things all the time, every day, exactly, they're going to learn differently. They're going to comprehend it differently. They're going to show you their way of doing things. It's just how we are nowadays.
I agree, and I think that's why I like this topic for the smart one. Was I don't think, like I was saying, in the older days, obviously, I think there's one category. Obviously, everybody can define someone as smart, because people are all smart in their own ways, right? People are intelligent in certain things, so it's hard to say. But if you really want to define someone who's smart overall, it's someone who's well-rounded in all areas, that know a little bit about everything. They can do a little bit of everything. Not saying they're going to be SMEs, subject matter experts in everything. Everybody doesn't know that term.
I don't even know that until you said that.
It's a big one now in the technology world. Okay. So that's why I brought it up, because I'm a SME in my area, right? But I wouldn't be a SME in another area. It's just it's a fucking.
Sounds like a South Park word.
It is. It's a South Parky word. A SME, you can say, you might be SME in fucking, music, right?
Yeah.
Metallica, whatever it is. Like
Right.
you know everything and anything about that kind of stuff. But if I ask you to talk about, so and so out of this book or music, you might not know it because you're not me in that the subject, whatever. But like to me, in the technology world, I know a lot about it. I don't know everything about it. I'm not a developer. I don't know how to develop stuff, so I can't talk about that. But if you talk about engineering stuff with collaboration, voice and video shit, I can tell you from the beginning to the end everything about it. That's where we're at nowadays to the end, whatever troubleshooting wise stuff. But so that's just the way I look at stuff. Not a smart one.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like you said, we're all smart in our own little worlds, basically.
Yeah. So like the smart one growing up, I used to think in my family the smart one was. I don't know. I don't really think I ever looked at someone and was like, hey, they're smarter than me or anything like that. I don't think I really idolized it as anybody smart. Maybe my grandpa, maybe our Grandpa Grady, might be the only person in the family I kind of like looked at that because I knew he made a lot of money. He retired when he was 30 years old, or 35, my mom said. He owned the Hallmark store or whatever, and he was pretty much retired. I mean, he worked, but he was retired. Like he had money, but he didn't act like he had money. Lived a simple life, did whatever he wanted to do. Grandma was oblivious, didn't even know how much money Grandpa had or whatever. But at the end of the day,
oblivious to a lot of things.
Yeah,
I love her to death, but she was very oblivious to a lot of things.
Yeah, Grandma was awesome. But at the same time, to me, that was he was financial smart, book smart, that kind of stuff. But that's to me like maybe that's who I looked up who was smart as younger. Did you know anybody that you looked up in the family as smart?
I did, but then as I got older, I realized they weren't as smart as I thought they were.
Yeah,
my dad was huge on music. He's the one that got me into liking. At first, I started liking like Chuck Berry and Jerry Lee Lewis because that's what he listened to, and he would give me trivia and stuff like that. Say, hey, Jerry Lee Lewis, he married his cousin when she was 13, and all this weird trivia shit.
Yep.
And as I got older, I started getting into heavier music, and I would play him certain things, and I go, do you know what this is? He's like, oh yes, this is. Oh, that's In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida by Iron Butterfly, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So then I would look up that song. Of course, we didn't have the internet back then, so I had to learn about the song, stuff like that. And then when I heard it on the radio, I'm like, this isn't the same song. And I started to realize that a lot of the bullshit, the trivia that my dad told me, he didn't know. Either he didn't know or he just got false information. And it just blew me away that I'm saying I thought my dad was the smartest person I knew. Mm-hmm. Plus, he also finished college and stuff like that. So I thought he was the smartest guy I knew. But then after, like I said, I think early teens to about 18 or 19 that I realized that he didn't know jack shit about music.
I think when you're a kid, you're kind of naive. Like you look up to people and you think they know a lot of stuff or they do a lot of stuff. I didn't do that. But, to be honest with you, and I can say this right now because, when I was a kid, I always looked up to my dad. Always like my dad, like what he was doing. Like, he liked sports. I thought my dad, did like a lot of cool car stuff. And then there was a time I was like, I don't think my dad is smart, and when I got older, I'm like, my dad's an idiot. Like he doesn't know what he's talking about. But as I got older, again, this is like my teenage. When you go through a teenage and you're idiot age, and then as I got older, I'm like, damn, dude, my dad's super smart. Like he knows a lot of shit about a lot of things. He's been around the block more than once. Like he's really good at finance, huh?
Like your mom.
Yes, like my mom.
But other things.
Yes.
Cock.
The stuff my dad knows. It's like I can educatedly say this with my sister. My sister, I think I might have said this before. I don't know why I'm bringing it up, but my dad, like I always asked my dad for advice going up, like for financial advice or whatever it was, or whatever. And I got through things pretty easy because I take it follow advice. My sister was the kind of this person. I'm the know-it-all, right? And this will bleed into the topic that I'm going to go, and that's why I brought it up. Was the next person is the know-it-alls, right? Sorry, Ashley, I'm going to call you out if you listen, but this is going to be for you or whatever. And this might be a STEM part of my family or whatever, so sorry if I'm calling you out. And sometimes I'm probably like this too, just being intelligent or whatever else, and it might just be one of our family traits is the know-it-all. Like you feel like you want to know it all and stuff. I'm pretty humble. I don't feel like I know it all, but if I'm educated on something, I won't back down, and I'm pretty going to put my foot down. But I think my sister stemmed from this, and this is just maybe her personality. I feel like she feels like sometimes she's a know-it-all. She's like she knows it all, and she'll argue it to the nines until she figures out whatever. And I love them when I prove her wrong, and she has to eat some humble pie and tell me that I was right or whatever, or vice versa. Sometimes I have to do it with her. But I think that's someone I know, and a reason I bring it up because there's someone in everybody's family that you talk to them, and every single time they're gonna be right and you're gonna be wrong. You're like,
oh yeah,
what the fuck? Not saying that she's like this every time. I'm just saying that most of the time,
sure,
when we talk about something, even if I'm more educated in the topic, she likes to tell me that why she's right and I'm wrong, and it's like, no, you're not, or whatever, or vice versa. So Do you know anybody like that?
Oh yeah, I know a couple of family members are like that.
Mm-hmm.
That you can't tell them anything, and they have to be right.
Yeah.
I mean, just you can talk to them till you're blue in the face, and you're still wrong.
Mm-hmm.
They are right. It's just so nerve wracking. It's just like you just want to punch the shit out of them.
Yeah. I'll just bring this up because I remember one topic me and my sister were going round and round about it, and I proved it wrong, was with Eddie Murphy, why he doesn't when he did stand up and all this stuff, like he doesn't drink. And a lot of people used to think he was a big alcoholic and drinker and partier and drunk. He's like, no, he didn't do any of that stuff. Like, he was straight laced the whole way. And she's like, oh no, he drinks and does all this stuff, whatever. And I was like, go Google it and look it up, and raise and boom, bam. I was like, and she didn't look it up. I look at it and I pasted it on and sent it to her, and she's like, okay, you're right, okay, whatever. And it's like, yeah, but that was something small and stupid that I knew because I watched a bunch of shit on comedy. She said she knew that, but she was wrong, whatever. So suck a D. But the the know-it-all stuff, I think that bothers me because there's so many people in the IT world, and this is why I'm really bringing it up, not just my sister, the dunk on her.
That's fun.
It is fun. I don't like people that are know-it-alls. It really bothers me. It pisses me off more than anything because it's like, okay, well, you might know a lot about something, but you don't know everything. And sometimes, like, it's good to have, like, 4 heads or 5 heads coming in and say other things that might bring up a different idea. Those kind of people, to me, are just closed-minded, and I don't want to be around people like that because it's like, okay, if you're one-way track mind thinking, it just bothers me. And obviously there's people in my family, like I said, that are like that. Or not really know-it-alls, but certain things sometimes they act like know-it-alls. So right. I don't know why. I don't know why that bothers me. I think probably
it's just because people think they're better than you, and they're not.
Right. I think the other thing is you can't get a word in with them. It's like no matter what you say, you get cut off. Kind of like I do to you on the podcast. I'm just joking. I'm just long-winded. But I think the know-it-all stuff, it's just it hit home with me because it's like, man, I know so many people like that. It's not just my family. I'm just saying people in general, work, friends. That's what I want to say about it. I mean, obviously, do you know anybody personally that's like that besides you brought up or anything?
I know quite a few people. I don't want to, because I do listen to this every once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there are a lot of people that, like I said, you can't tell them anything edgewise.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter. You could say the sky is blue. Oh no, it's more of a robin's egg. Blah 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 blah. I'm like, blue. Who gives a fuck?
I will say this because I'll eat some humble pie on it too. There is times that I feel like I know everything about hockey. Like when someone brings up hockey, I'm the kind of guy that's going to go to bat and say, well, because I watch a lot of hockey, read about a lot of hockey, I play hockey.
Right.
I live and breathe and shit it. And there's sometimes I get things wrong. And I have to be like, okay, you're right, I was wrong, but. And there's a running joke that, at my work that some of my friends have made up because I'll say stuff like, oh, the Blues would have won last night. They say this to Randy. Like, Randy's the kind of guy that the Blues would have won. They can win every game because so-and-so missed his shot. But if he would have made it, the Blues would have won. And that's like their joke to me. It's like, okay, I do bring up situations. It's like, hey, did you see that game last night? Yeah, we won. It's like, yeah, he had a breakaway. If he would have scored that different outcome in the game, like they use that as a joke against me because it's true. But at the same time, I get what they're saying is like, it's common sense, Randy. Like, you're not telling something people don't know. It's like, some people don't know that because they're fucking stupid. So I have to say that kind of stuff. To put it in sense because they're like, oh, the Blues are the worst team. It's like, it's a game of inches. Sometimes things go their way and sometimes they don't. It's like that in every sport, right? So that's a joke with me. And sometimes I have to eat some know-it-all pie.
Eat some dick on that one?
Eat some dicks. So we know-it-alls. I'm a know-it-all. I'm the smart one. Just joking. How about the person in their family who gets everything? You call them the baby or
princess,
the princess, or whatever.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So that's how it was in my family. My brother was the one who got everything because he was the one that was excelling in school. Mm-hmm. So they figured they would reward him. Mm-hmm. If I got a C in class, I was happy. A C to me was an A. Mm-hmm. But it didn't work out like that a lot of times because my brother was getting such good grades. He got a Letterman jacket. He asked for a typewriter. He got basically all the cool toys at first until he started growing out of them. It's just like everything was all about him because he excelled. He's the one to make it. I'm going to be the one in jail. He's going to be the one that's going to college. Mm-hmm. That kind of crap, and it pissed me off so bad because I felt left out. I was the baby. I should have been babied, which I was for a little while, but then after a while, it's like. My parents just give up trying.
Yeah.
Like, Tim's not going anywhere. He's not going to do jack shit with his life. Why even bother giving him any kind of positive reinforcement?
I get it. to me and my family, I think I don't know if there's anybody that gets everything as a baby, but I feel like my mom and dad just try to give everybody in our family whatever they needed or wanted. So I think that's just being a good
equal,
parent.
just being equal. Yeah. That's how it should be.
But I also think in every family, it depends on who is born last. I think it usually becomes the baby because it's the last kid in the family. So you can say that. You can say it's my sister Ashley or whoever, or you could say that to you or whoever in the family, whatever you want to say.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think it's just situational in everybody's family. Because I'm gonna look at my sister and think something different than she'll look at me. My sister probably thinks I get spoiled, and I think probably she gets spoiled, right?
Right.
Or my older sister gets spoiled over us, or whatever. You can say whatever.
But you're the middle child, so you shouldn't get spoiled at all.
Right, I'm the middle child, but I'm the only boy in the family, so I
there you go.
So
you're the princess.
I'm princess with a dick.
And tiara. A tiara for your dick.
Yep.
And your ball throw.
My ball throw, yeah.
I'll talk about your ball throw.
Yeah. So, God damn, I lost my train of thought. Either.
Sorry.
No, you're good. Everybody gets anything. I think I know people personally, but here's the other thing I know about people. There's a lot of people I know that are just like the only kid in the family. So like obviously they're gonna get spoiled.
Of course.
But as they've grown up, or whatever, some people like they're still like that, and other people have grown out of it. But there's a kid I always like hated growing up, but I liked him, but I hated him because he got everything and anything he wanted. I'm like, what the fuck does this kid get everything?
Yeah, what makes him so damn special?
I didn't until I ever got older. I realized like he's the only child, so obviously he's gonna get everything. So I don't have any hate against any of these people. I just thought it was weird that and I was mad at the world because I didn't get everything like they wanted to. But I realized like that's just materialistic stuff. That's just what happens, right?
Right.
With families, not everybody. Even if some kids might be single family, and they might not fucking get anything, right? But there is ones that are babies to get everything. I'm sure there's other people in my family like that, but I didn't live with their family, so it's hard to say. So I can only personally speak about my family. So I'd say, yeah, my sister got a lot of stuff. All my sisters did, but so did I. So it's like I don't know who really was the baby. I think we just kind of bickered and fighted over who was the baby in the family, who got more attention. I think that's a normal.
Right. But it was more of an equal thing.
Yeah, and I think there's people that get everything, but sometimes there's people that, but also they have everything, but they have nothing. Right?
Yeah, but do they have it? Yeah, but
do they really have anything?
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of people that are like that. They're like
Definitely.
they really have a sister and brother than have all the toys and all in the world.
Right.
Because they have no one to play with or do anything. Right.
Yeah.
I think that's a thing that happens a lot of times in families as well. So like, yeah, I might have been the baby growing up, but I didn't have any brothers or sisters, so like they've always wanted a brother and sister.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Or a puppy.
Huh?
Or a puppy.
Yeah, a puppy. So I'm gonna move on from that one. That was just one I just know people can relate to. And this one's a good one. I know you put this one in there. Let's say I'm just gonna use your words. The dumbass no one wants to be related to.
That sounds like something I would say.
So I'm gonna let you go ahead and speak about this one.
There's always someone in your family that just you're so ashamed that you're related to them. It could be the drunk, it could be the princess, it could be your brother, it could be anything, anybody in the family. But there's always somebody you just like whenever, like especially at school. Okay, I'll use my brother because that's sometimes I wish I wasn't related to him. If I go up to somebody and go, "Hey, my name is Tim, blah blah blah," my real name, and people go like, "You're Tom's brother, aren't you?" I'm like, "Yes." I always roll my eyes and just big like, they know. Or even if I say that, yeah, I'm Tom's brother, they're like, "You're Tom's brother? What?" I'm like, "Yes." It's just I'm not just my brother, but there are other people in my family, but he's the biggest one. It just irks me when people. It's like I have to admit that yes, he is my brother. Or even hell, we've gone out to like arcades when we were little, and I would have more tickets than him, and people would be like, "Why don't you get your friend or something, man?" I go, "He's not my friend. He's my brother."
Mm-hmm.
It's for me. It's funny now because that's how it was when I growing up. It's just like, God, did I really want a brother? But it's just, yeah, I know. I'm pretty sure you have people like that in your family. You make you want to roll your eyes and just be like, "Oh yeah, I remember they were cousins or whatever." It's just now it's more going directed towards the Aunt May that nobody wishes they were even related to anymore. Even you for sure. You're blood. I'm not. So
yeah. So I will agree with that statement. Like, there's always a dumbass no one wants to be related to, or something. We can call him a dumbass. You can call him whatever you want to. There's different stereotypes for every single person or judgmental things. But I never had that problem. I feel like I want to be related to anybody in my family. But I guarantee there is people out there. They're like you just said, like your brother. Like you're disappointed knowing that, but You could say that with friends. You could be like, oh, you're
Yeah.
friends with that person too. Like we can say that as another thing. Like, oh man, you're friends with that person. You get shit for being friends with a person.
Right.
There's plenty of times I got that for being like, but I was like, you know what? I like them personally who they are, or yeah, they're just dumbasses who they are. Like you would just say whatever, you know.
You don't see how they really are.
Right. You know, a lot of people didn't like Andrew Eckert growing up, whatever, one of my best friends, and because of who he was and what he did. But it's like you guys don't personally know him outside of like him being the class clown at school. Like outside of school, like he's a cool dude, down to earth. But yeah, he's wild and crazy.
Yeah.
You got to take with whatever you get. But I used to get flack for that too, and it's just what it is, man. Like some people you like for who they are, but sometimes you want to be associated with people, and sometimes you're embarrassed to be around some of these people or whatever.
Yeah.
It comes down to that kind of stuff too. You want to be seen in public people. I was never like that, but I had plenty of friends who were like, oh, when I'm around this so and so people, I got to be Mr. Cool, Mr. Popular. And it's like I don't want to be fucking friends with this person no more. Like this person's a douchebag, you know.
Right.
I might say cordial with them, but it's like I don't want to hang out with them now because they act that way. I hated people like that.
Yeah, definitely.
So-
yeah, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say that I don't really know many people that are really considered in my family dumb asses, but I would say I think of them as a dumb ass, but they're not really dumb. It's just me and my being a perception thing I have.
Just
with
the word
them.
you want to use. You know, that's okay. I mean, there's so many different words you can put it in front instead of dumbass.
Right. So I thought that was funny. I laughed about it because
It's true.
it's true, right? I think everybody. Now this one is going to hit home pretty good. I think everybody has this one. We got a couple more topics, and then I got a bonus topic at the end for me and you.
Another one.
I think we're going to start doing that as a.
Yeah, I think you should.
Yeah, just to throw it in there and something you don't have time to think about.
Okay. I'm for it.
So this topic is old people you can't tell anything, right? I know this is yours too. You made up because this one hits home too because it's true.
Oh God.
You got the stubborn older people in your family or people you work with or family members or friends, whatever. I just repeated myself there, but you can't tell them anything, man. Like
No,
they're
you can't.
so ingrained in their ways and what they think is right. There's no telling them anything different. Like, you know, it's like people in politics. If they're a cheerleader for the Democrats in the blue tie or people in the blue or the red, doesn't matter if they have a blue label next to their name or an R and a D, they're fucking out there cheering for them, whatever. And you can't tell them anything. You could tell them that they're about to castrate a kid outside and be like, yeah, go blue, right? You know, you can say whatever. And you're like, okay, you're fucking crazy. Like, what is what are you doing here? So the reason I use that as an analogy because I know people like it, you know. I think old people are really, really married to their ideas.
Oh yeah,
right?
they're so set in their ways. They've done it for so long. Nobody's told them any different. You know, because you got to think about it. People in the '60s and '70s were such not outspoken, but more of a closed-minded,
right?
On their ideologies, and it's just you can't tell them anything.
No, and I've gotten older. This is something funny about my mom and dad and just other fans found out is like. Someone who lives in the technology world, I like change, new things, new stuff that are coming out. But as I've gotten older, I don't like change as much. Like I'm used to certain things. Like my washer just went out.
Yeah,
I was telling you about. Yeah, my wash, where I wash stuff. It went out, and I went out to go find a new one. I looked at all these different ones, and when I got there at one of the Ding and Dent stores, or whatever, they had the same model as mine, but a different color and everything. And it was the newer brand, but it was the same kind.
Yeah.
Everything was the same. I was like, I like what I really like. So I got the same one because I'm used to it. I like it. I don't want to change. I already know how to use it. And it works, and it was universal to all the shit that I already had in my house. So it's like, gonna stick with what I know, bro, because this is what it is. Now, it's not like that with everything, but it's like that with a lot of things, right?
Yeah.
It's like once you're used to something, you don't want to change. So,
Oh yeah, definitely.
I think that's an old person topic for sure, like an old person thing. When I was younger, I didn't care about that as much. It's like I want the coolest and latest, greatest thing. It's like I still like that, and I still like to have that. You know, it's a materialistic mindset or whatever, or something that's enjoyable. But as I've gotten older, it's like, nah, I want to stick with this.
Oh yeah.
Like if you're a PC and Mac guy, I don't really want to learn a Mac at 35 years old.
Exactly.
I know I can figure it out. I don't care about them because they suck. You know, in my opinion. But other people, they're awesome because they can do all this other stuff like you for your podcast and your radio and whatever else you want to do. Macs are the shit. When it comes to other things, I don't think they're that. I think they're the dumb man's computer.
Exactly.
That's just me.
I agree with you.
That's just the way I look at it. But so old people, they're like, yeah, they're so married to their ideas. Like if you told them to do something, like, hey, there's this new tool you can use to change something in the house, a light
Make
bulb.
it so easy.
Make it so easy. They're like, fuck that. I've been doing this since 1950, and I'm going to do it this way.
Screw it in this way if I want to.
Yeah, Jasper's gonna mean you're gonna do this, you know, and it's like, okay, cool. Like they like to do it the way they're doing it. You can't tell them anything different,
Exactly.
and it's like, okay, that was a lost battle. You know, why did I even waste energy?
Exactly. Yeah.
Do you have any examples of that? Just be funny.
There's quite a few examples I could give. I just think of one of the better ones. Basically, is I used to work with this old guy at the radio station, and the way he did things, it's just like, dude, you can't do that. You know, this is how it's supposed to be. You can't say the things you say on the air. Because whenever he would talk about people, he would give such descriptive words, I guess you could say, of people. He wouldn't say, "Hey, Randu, you're that little kid down the street," or that, you know, the one that lives at the White House. No, he'd be like, "You know that Jewish kid, Randu, that lives in that ugly, off beige, white colored," you know." He would just, it's like, dude, I don't need to hear that. Just say, "Hey, do you know Randu?" That's all you need to say. And then he would do that on the air, and it pissed me off so bad. It's just like I used to yell at him every single time. I go, "Frank, you can't say that on the air. It's not a cuss word. I didn't say you cussed, but it's just a way you're describing people or describing things. You say, well, my audience, this is the way we talk." I go, "You don't have an audience. I'm looking at your counter right now. You have nobody listening."
That's right.
You know, that kind of crap. Yeah. It's like, just listen to me. I'm not trying to nitpick or, you know, piss on your parade. It's just, you're not supposed to do that.
Right.
Because people aren't going to like that. You know, especially with anything PC nowadays. You know, you have to be careful what you say and how you say things and who you say them to, kind of thing. Back then, they could give two shits if a black guy walked down the street and said, "Yo, Jerome, whatever." You know, nobody gave a shit. Nowadays, you say that, you get shot.
Yeah.
You know,
or you beat up.
Exactly. Yeah. You know, mostly get shot at because you're stupid.
Yeah.
And your friend got beat up at school. And
yeah.
Anyway.
I would say this too. It's funny because, like, even like, and I'm not saying that people don't do this either. Older people are really good about saying, like, "Hey, I saw you do it this way, but I have a better way to do it because I've been doing it this way for so long." And then they show it to you, and it is a better way.
Yeah, sometimes, yeah.
And right, and I've had that happen many times when I'm working in, like, construction, doing stuff around my house with my father-in-law, or just things I've watched online. I'm like, well, that's a way better way than what I else do, because the only way I knew to do it.
Yeah.
But older people are like, no. Not everybody, but a lot of them are like that. And like, I've been doing it this way for so long. Like, there might be a better way to cook something or whatever.
Yeah,
that's just it.
You show them that 5-minute hacks videos, and they're like, "Well, that's stupid."
Yeah.
No, it's not. Dude, look how easy that is.
I swear, since I showed my father-in-law YouTube and stuff like that, and like how much stuff he can look up on there, dude, he finds more shit to fix and do stuff than I do, and better ways to do things. I'm like, wow. So like, we tag team sometimes on finding things out, how to do things. It's like, why would I go spend money to have this repairman come out and do something that I could do, and I just have to watch a YouTube video on? It might take me a little bit longer to get done, but I just saved myself $500, right?
Yeah. You don't have to go to the Home Depot and wait till the 28th to come back. Or...
Yeah. It's coming at 28th. Well, I got another guy here. He offered me $300 to do this.
Yeah, but you can get throw in a 6-pack. You can get drunk. I don't care.
Yeah. God, that's such a good episode.
Yeah.
That was South Park, by the way. The Pandaverse.
Pandaverse.
So that was it. I mean, there's always going to be old people who are like that, and especially in my family. My dad sometimes is like that. Like, he's kind of he knows something better, and then I have to explain to him why it's better, and then he's like, "Oh, okay." Like, he will get it, but I have to repeat it like 15 times to remember.
Of course.
This one's going to hit home too with a lot of people of our 10 listeners. I think we grew by 5 listeners, so we got 10 now.
All right.
I'm just joking.
No.
Disappointed parents. I think there's a lot of parents that have, well, I'll use my words for like movies, high expectations of their kids. And if you're a parent and you don't, I think you're stupid to try to not have good expectations or high expectations. You want your kids to be the best and do the best stuff, whatever. They get disappointed over everything and anything. My parents were not like that, so I can't really speak to that. So I don't think I can really have any, I guess, skin in the game talking about this. Like, my parents were just happy that I did whatever, and they're appreciative, and they backed me for whatever, unless I'm trying to do something crazy. But for the most part, I think I can't talk to. I mean, did you have parents who were disappointed about stuff all the time?
Yeah, my parents were. I was so such disappointed in my parents that it became a normal thing. It just, they didn't even use the word disappointment anymore because I was just that bad.
Really?
You know, I used to tell people all the time that, you know, I never hear that I'm a good influence. I always hear I'm a bad influence, but just now it's just, at least I could take that as being an influence on somebody. And yeah, all the time, especially academically. My dad was a history teacher for a little bit, and whenever I was failing history and math, and whenever I was failing history or math, he let me have it so fucking bad. And it's just like, you're just a disappointment. You're not gonna grow up to be anything. You're not gonna be successful. You're not gonna do anything with your life. You know, I see you being in jail by the time you're 20.
Yep.
And it's just like, when you hear that kind of stuff, it really hits home, and it's just like it pisses you off, but it also, for like people like me, it drove me to try harder, to say, fuck you, I'm not going to be in jail. I'm not, I'm going to make something of myself.
Yeah. And
it just hurt though when it first happened, because I was just like, wow, my own father is telling me I'm not going to amount to anything.
Yeah. I think there's something, I read something about this, and I think it too. Like sometimes, like even when you say it to children, like, I'm not mad at you, but I'm disappointed. When you say it in that way, you're like, holy fuck.
That hurts more.
Disappointed hurts so much more than mad. Like, I can have my mom be mad at me, but she said she was disappointed. I was like, fuck. Like, you really fucked up.
Exactly.
You're disappointed, right? So, like, I never really, I mean, obviously, I'm sure there's things I did that disappointed them, right? I can't remember off the top of my head, but I'm just saying they never came out and flat out all the time and said, I'm disappointed about this. But they probably did. I just don't remember, right? Maybe because I punched my sister in the face or did something weird. Disappointed you did that. But yeah, that sucks. I mean, your dad said it, but that's a norm for a lot of families. Say it.
It's the tough love stuff.
It's tough love stuff, right? I think you say it sometimes, and you probably don't even really mean it. You say it so it hits home harder sometimes with children too, to try to like motivate them to do better, try harder. Right. Maybe your dad was saying that to do that same thing, or maybe he's being serious.
Just an asshole.
Just an asshole. I think that happens as well. But yeah, I think the disappointed parents thing is one that does happen, and I think that's it. I mean, I know plenty of friends and people are like, man, my mom and dad are always disappointing me about something, so they would say that kind of shit to them. So,
right.
I have one called the snob, but I think we already kind of talked about snobbiness, right? I think it kind of hits in there. This one's a good one. The one that helps everyone.
Yeah, that's
in the
you.
family. Huh? That's me.
That's you.
Yeah, I ain't gonna speak to it, but I try to help everyone as much as I can when I have time. Right? I try to help you. Try to help my mom and dad, people in the family, friends, whatever.
Yeah.
I try my best to help people because, well, shit, everybody needs help. I need help, right? And when you're younger, you don't think about it as much. Like, fuck everybody. Like, I'm gonna do everything myself, And sometimes I feel like about that. Sometimes I'm like, I'm just gonna do everything myself or whatever. But at the same time, everybody needs help. I wish I get help sometimes. I mean, I'm saying my wife doesn't help me or whatever. Or I get help from the family once in a while, but it is hard to ask for help. I'll tell you that right now. So I don't try to make people ask me help. I just offer the help because I think that's the right thing to do. So, especially if I know how to do something, they don't. Why not? Because there's going to be a time I need help with something, and they might be able the person to help me, right?
Right.
So I think that's a good thing to try to do. Be more like, my sister asked for help one of them. I mean, everybody asks me for help in my family. I don't take it for granted. Sometimes I get annoyed because it's like, oh fuck, I got to do this
again.
And then I'll be honest, like sometimes I would avoid going to my mom and dad's, which I need to stop thinking this way because every time I go over there, they need help with something. I need you to do this, this, and this. And it's like, can I just come over and hang out with my mom and dad, or do I have to come over and fix 40 things? But my mom, like, she's like, I really appreciate it. I really need your help and do this. And it's like, all right, I really don't mind it, but it's like I gotta mentally build myself up to go over there and do it because like my mom wanted me to paint her cabinets. I painted all of her cabinets. She gave me some money for whatever. I didn't ask for it, but she did. But it looks great when it's done. But it's like, man, it took a lot of time and effort to do that because it's really hard to do that with kids and everything. But I know my mom really appreciated it, so that's why I did it.
Right. It's understandable. I mean, sometimes you can do, if you can do it, you can do it. But other times, just some people take, like you said, take it for granted.
Oh, 100%.
I don't mean to do it when every time you come over here.
Yeah, but your situation is different. Sometimes you need help or whatever, and that's just what it is. I mean, if you didn't need help, you wouldn't ask for it, and I don't care that you need help or ask for help or whatever. But other people, they're very prideful and they don't want fucking help at all. They won't ask anybody, which I was like that for a long time. I would never ask for help. I think my sister's like that too. My sister Ashley, I think she's more the person that doesn't ask for help. I figured out right away, like even at work, like there's a lot of people like, I don't want to ask for help because I don't look stupid or whatever. It's like, I'd rather ask for help and get it done the right way than the wrong way and figure it out how I do it, and I don't have to ask them for help again.
Right.
This is the way I look at it too. You know?
Yeah. I mean, sometimes you have to do it yourself, like you said, because that's the way you learn.
Right.
That way you don't have to ask for the help.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's just a smart way to do it. I mean, everybody's different. There's a lot of people that don't want to help, or they don't have the knowledge to help, or they're lazy and don't want to help, or whatever.
Right.
It's really weird. Like in my family, sometimes I look at like kicks. Like if I came over and started helping my mom, like spring clean, my mom would come down there and start doing it. But if I wasn't there, she wouldn't do it. Like that's kind of way like my family's always been. Like if I was over there and like someone was coming over, and you got to make sure the house is immaculate because we can't let anybody know that we live there, right? Especially at my mom's house, she was always like that when like someone would come over for a party. And then 365 days out of the rest of the year, or whatever, 364, she would never clean like that. I mean, she'd clean, but nothing like she would clean like, we got family coming over, you got to clean. Like, no, everybody lives here. So I would start cleaning, and then everybody in the house would just start helping and cleaning, whatever, you know. And it always puts everybody in a good mood. That's why I like to have. I think I remember as a memory as a kid. I don't know why the fuck I'm going down this topic, but when I would clean as a kid, I always got like a good like euphoric feeling. Everybody in the house would always feel good, like, you know, the house is clean, there's nothing to do, whatever. I think I related back to that. My mom was always in a good mood when we would do whatever, and we didn't. My mom was always like, the house is chaotic and everything's out of control. But she's always a single mom with 3 kids. My dad was working all the time, not single, but always at home by herself. So
Right.
I think I always tried to help my mom doing that stuff too, and it kind of just stayed with me since I've been a kid. And being around Grandma Grady, there was no dysfunction or in the house like.
That's for sure.
My mom's mom, grandma, and no one's gonna know who she is, but talking about it, my mom, this is an older person thing. She would always have a rag in her hand, and she was always walking around cleaning and doing stuff. So like,
Wiping something off, yeah.
Yeah, so the house was always clean. Like if there's a cigarette in the ashtray, by the time you're done with the cigarette, the ashtray was clean.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the way she operated. I'm like, holy shit! Like I wasn't that crazy, but my grandma, that's just the way she was, and she liked it, everything in her way, in her place.
Mm-hmm.
I obviously adopted a lot of those things, but not that extreme. I'm not going to wipe the ashtray out the minute you're done with it and throw your cigarette away if you're going to smoke another one. So,
she was a sweetheart.
Yeah. So I guess that's the one to help. You can say me. I don't mind saying that. I think that's a good thing. And here's my last ones on these two, and then I'm going to give us to the random topic. So the athletic one and the non-athletic one, or the strange one, you could say the outcast or whatever. Because I say it's not really a strange or outcast. I'd say I'm not saying that if you're not athletic or strange or an outcast. I'm saying there's always a person in the family that they might be more into painting or doing whatever, and people are like, why do they like that? They just don't understand.
They're not like anybody else in the family. That's what I mean.
Perfect way to put it.
That's what I was trying to allude at, because that's how I am. I am the black sheep, so to say, in my family, because nobody does the things that I've done or do or whatever, stuff like that. And it confuses people
because you stand out.
Yeah, because I stand exactly. That's that big thing right there. You know, to me, I think it's great because, you know, it makes me myself. It makes me an individual. I can do, you know, my thing and without being bothered by anybody. But at the same time, it's like sometimes I'm like, well, I wish I had a cousin that listened to, you know, heavy metal all the time, and we'll come over and we talk about Metallica or whatever. You know, it's just randomly things like that. You know, I great being the outcast. I love being, you know, the loner, but at the same time, I do need a hug sometimes.
Yeah. Well, luckily I like heavy
metal. Oh yeah, exactly. You're the only one.
Yeah.
Which is great still.
Yeah. I would say, and I'll just say it because I don't care. In my family, I am the athletic one.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I mean, obviously, hockey's always stuck with me really well, but I played baseball. I played soccer. I didn't play football, but mostly hockey, whatever. But I'm still very athletic. Until this day, I'm still athletic, you know, and I think that's just something. I don't know if this comes from our family or who it comes from. My dad was, I guess, semi-athletic or athletic as well. And my son, he's already athletic. You know, Lincoln's doing really well. He's already playing 4 or 5 sports, so he does basketball, he does hockey, he's doing t-ball, he's doing golf. Now, obviously at 5 years old, you can say he's
doing golf.
He's doing golf.
I didn't know he did golf.
He's not in a league or nothing. He's just playing it in the backyard and doing
Okay.
So not really like we went to like Top Golf and a couple places and taking him, but
gotcha.
Doing more stuff like that with him because at that age you want to see what he likes, what he gravitates
yeah.
to, and get his hand-eye coordination going. But he really enjoys it, so I enjoy doing it with him. So if he wasn't athletic, you could find out right away, and I wouldn't care. You know, I wouldn't be upset.
He's still your son no matter what.
Correct. And the reason I brought that up is because there is people in my family that are not athletic, and people are like, this person's more strange because they're more into technology, or they're more into, and you're seeing this more with kids, obviously, like, you know, they're more into technology and doing stuff nowadays, or they might be more into music like you, or they're more into whatever, artsy stuff or whatever. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I just think that there's always like a weird elephant in the room type of thing. Like, oh, look at Jane over there. She's dressed in black, or she's more like whatever, and because she likes to do these things, and they might find it weird because it's not a normal thing that most people do, right?
Right.
So
I have another cousin like that too. He was before everybody had the different pronouns. He was trying to be a girl. His name is I won't say his name. The name he was using was Lucille, and he would always wear this black and pink like anime wig. Everywhere, but dressed like a boy. And it confused the hell out of my family, and they were just so awestruck about like, oh, great, who's he going to be this week, or what's he you know, what is she going to be doing, kind of thing. And it's just like, leave the poor kid alone. He's trying to find his identity. He's trying to figure out what he is or who he is. And it's just because I was there, you know, I was the outcast, and you know he was for a little bit, but he turned out okay. as far as I know. I haven't talked to him in a while,
Mm-hmm.
but he turned out
If
okay.
you turn out okay, they're going to turn out okay.
And his dad was, the drunk racist person we were talking about earlier,
Mm-hmm.
and he ended up offing himself, and the son found out,
Mm-hmm.
and then he started using that as a crutch sometimes, saying, I'm this way because my dad did this.
Yeah, which
And
it could be true.
It could be, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like I said, he grew out of it, so to say.
Yeah.
And which is not saying that's a bad thing. It's not saying it's a good thing.
No.
It's just he found himself, and which I'm very happy for him.
Yeah. And just go back to what we're talking about, like the athletic, whatever. I know plenty of people in my family that are athletic, whatever, and they made it to a certain stop, and they like hit their threshold, and they stop. Most people stop between high school and college.
Right.
I stopped.
It's not fun anymore to them.
Right, I stopped at college, but I never really stopped. I just never got to
down.
I never got to the next level where I wanted to go.
Yeah.
Right, and I just kind of took that as like, hey, I got here, I didn't get noticed or whatever, and this is where I'm meant to be in life. So I just took it as that, and this is going to bleed in right now to my topic. So the off topic. So we're done with the families and their challenges. So this is a topic. It's a random question I do at the end of the podcast. Now, whoever tunes in and listens is there a path in your life that you remember going down, kind of like a fork in the road, we'll call it, right? I'll use this as an analogy. And you can go this way or this way. And if you would have went this way, things would have turned out this way. And if you would have went this way, obviously things would turn out better this way. And so is there a fork in the road that you get to, and do you regret choosing the path and not going the other direction? Or are you happy you went with that path in that direction?
Oh man, that's a hard question.
All right. Well, I'll go first
Yeah.
because I kind of already know this question,
Okay.
and this will give you a minute to think on it. So there was a point in my life, and it kind of relates to hockey. That's why I brought it up as the end from the athletic one was. I got an offer from 3 different high schools around us, and most of them are paid schools, or the private schools or Catholic schools, or whatever. I got a ride to CBC, DeSmet, and Chaminade. Okay. Chaminade. They asked me if I wanted to go play hockey for them, right? And it was going to be like a paid type thing. I don't know if I got fully paid, but my dad said he's like CBC really wants you to play there and whatever else.
Like Shaq did in high school?
Huh?
Like Shaq did in college?
Yeah. Yeah. Did they pay like Shaq did in college? Oh, that part basketball reference. I got offered, and I said, I want to go play. If I'm good enough, I want to go play with all the kids in school that I grew up with, because I wanted to be with boys and girls. I didn't want to go to all private school because 1, I didn't know how that was going to be. 2, I was in 8th grade, so it was a very hard decision for me to make. And 3, I didn't want to be with all boys. I think really was, and I wanted to be around girls and experience high school for what it was, and then take it all with my friends. So I chose the path to go to high school. That was a public school, not a private school or whatever. Come to find out later in life, if I would have chose the private school, not saying it's guaranteed or anything, but those kind of schools have all the pool to get to the D1 private, the big schools for hockey or
Right.
whatever sport you're going to, right? And it's not guaranteed at all by any means,
Of
but
course.
they know a lot more people. It's all politics, right? It's about
Yeah.
who you know. I could have went there, and I think I could have went somewhere for hockey. Not saying I went pro, but I probably could have went to a D1 like ice hockey school or whatever, and probably played. Not probably the best schools, but whatever. I probably got into a school. All the schools I went through for my high school, I got denied. But I don't regret decision I made, because I think it was the path I was supposed to choose. Because 1, I met great people, made lifelong friends, had great times, or whatever. I still got to play hockey. I still got to go to college and play hockey. Got a good job, nice wife, family, whatever you want to say, whatever. But if I would have chose that other thing, my life would have been different. I think I would have had a different route, met different people. Who knows if I would have made it in hockey at all? Probably not, but maybe I got closer than I did now. So I don't think I made the wrong choice, but I always go back and think on that because I love hockey so much. It's like, man, where would I have been if I would have made it in the hockey world? Would I would have made it farther? Maybe, maybe not. But I always go back and think, it's like, did I make the right choice? I think 9 times out of 10, I think I made the right choice. I think I did the right thing that makes sense for me. I just didn't know, but that was what my gut told me in 8th grade. So that was my fork in the road kind of random question.
I have quite a few, but I don't regret them at all because I'm a person that doesn't regret anything anymore. It's just like, take it as it is. One of them would have to be like, okay, I took my best friend to prom.
Mm-hmm.
Me and her were still close, by the way. And I could have pursued me and her getting together, having a relationship and all this stuff, but I chose to be the naive high school kid who just wanted to fuck around and not really care too much about anything. And basically, my fork was asking her out.
Mm-hmm.
I know, and I can almost guarantee she would say yes. She was, like I said, she was my best friend. I knew her inside and out, and same here. She knew about me. We still joke about stuff from high school and, how stupid we were, the stupid shit that we did.
Right.
And I believe that my life would be totally different, like 100% different, if I went with her instead of choosing the path that I chose.
Yeah.
And my path was moving down to Florida
Mm-hmm.
and living, with my mom for a couple months and then get on my own and stuff like that. But if I did not take the path that I took, I'd never gone on tour doing roadie stuff and playing guitar and stuff like that, being in a band.
Mm-hmm.
Would never been released any kind of albums whatsoever. Probably would have never met you at all because, I didn't like my dad very much, and Marianne didn't like very much.
Mm-hmm.
So my life would totally be different.
Yeah.
Would I even have the same health problems I had now? Probably not. Would I still be on drugs? Probably. I started drinking earlier anyway, so that wouldn't change that much. But yeah, I think my life would be 100% different if I chose to see if I could go out with her, pursue a relationship with her.
Yeah. See, and that's why I brought it up, because it's one of those things you don't really think about or whatever.
You don't.
And there's a lot of forks in my road life, I could say, right?
Yeah.
Between girls I dated or jobs that I took or whatever. That's just the biggest one to me, because hockey hits home really close to me or whatever. And it's easy for me to discuss and talk about, because I think I don't, like I said, I don't really regret anything I've done either. But you always look back, and it's like, hey, I regret not doing better in school. I regret not dating this girl or having sex with her or whatever it is. Like, people have regrets for everything. I regret, going to having this job, or I regret being friends with this person and doing the thing I did. But to me, that was a fork in the road. I mean, I have another fork in the road, right? I'll just say it real quick. It's really stupid and small. Like
your penis.
Like my dick. When my friends came over to my house one time, and I was playing Zelda, right? And I love video games. I love Zelda. It's why I named my son Lincoln. Was after Link. It was part of that thing. So you guys can call me a dork or not, but that's
not
just
Abe
me.
Lincoln?
Abe Lincoln? Nope. A Lincoln.
No, Abe Lincoln.
Abe Lincoln.
It's not, did you say Abe Lincoln?
So he came to my house, and him and his friends were like, I'm going to go destroy this house, whatever. There was like a new house being built, or they said it was an abandoned house, and they said they were kicking walls and shit and doing it. And I was like, no, I'm going to play games. And they called me every word in the book. They're like, you got to come with us. And I said, no. And I just shut the door and locked the door and went back in my room and played video games. If I would have went with them that day, 30 minutes later, they were doing that. The police got called. They got arrested. They got in trouble. They got a felony charge against them, whatever. They're little kids, or probably not a felony, but they got in trouble and had to pay for it. And their parents had to pay for it. After that happened, that kid's life went in a totally different direction. After that happened, he got in trouble with drugs, going to jail. And the whole life, he spent his life pretty much in jail all the way till he was by the time I got to college. And we were best friends growing up, whatever. And I'm not going to name names or anything, because there's no point to do that, to put him on blast or whatever, because he's dead now, so it doesn't really matter. But him and his brother both died or whatever. But that was a crossroad in his life that changed everything. And it could have changed my life, too, because it wouldn't have been a bad path. And I'm glad I never went with them to do that. It's something small and stupid, but I will never forget. And it's like, man, I can't believe I made the right choice. I was, young. I was probably like
big pat on the back for yourself.
10, 11, 12, whatever. But, yeah, going back to it, I thought that was a cool topic, a little one-off thing or whatever to talk about.
I like that.
Kind of like we did last week. I think we'll continue that tradition, and maybe you can do one next one. I don't have to do it, every single time. I just like to throw stuff at you and do that kind of stuff. So
I like when you do that.
yeah, I know you do. Like when I beat you with stuff.
Yeah, beat on your chin.
Yeah, gross.
You said ew rough?
Yeah, ew gross.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so that was a fork in my life. The thing, I have plenty more I could probably bring up, but the hockey one was always big for me, because I always bring it up. Even my parents sometimes bring it up, like, remember that you had that time to do that kind of stuff? It's like, yeah, thanks, Mom, for bringing it up. But it's like, no, I made the right choice, because I had a great time in high school, met a lot of things, and I think everything worked out for the best. And if it would have worked out different, cool, but I don't know, man. I always dwell on it. It's like, hopefully my son gets that level ever that I got to for hockey, and I want him to get better than me. Not saying he's going to. Not saying he's going to want to play hockey when we go there or nothing, but I'd like to see, in any sport, I'd like to see him get to whatever, or even just esports or
Gymnastics,
music, whatever he's into. I'd like to see him excel and get really good at it. I think that's every parent's dream, right? Or
you want all your kids to be successful.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to look at it. But that's all the topics I have for the podcast, man. That's what we have today. If you guys liked us, like what we talked about, again, subscribe, like what we do. Put comments in there and tell us something maybe you guys want us to talk about and discuss. It'd be cool. Or text us, since we only have like 5 people that listen to us anyway that are close friends and family.
Tell your friends, man. Goddamn.
Tell your friends. Don't tell your friends and tell them again.
Hound them the fuck out of them.
But yeah, that's it for today. I think we had some pretty good topics that most people can enjoy and listen to. If you guys want to hear anything, please just let us know. If not, just continue to listen and tell us how bad we suck, even if we think
any kind of feedback, man.
Anything. Hey, we'll take anything you can get at this point. We're grasping at straws here because we want to grow from 5 listeners to 10. That'd be really cool.
Yeah, if we get 20, hell yeah, dude.
Yeah, I mean, if we actually promote our podcast, we probably get a lot more. But then I don't want to get canceled.
Exactly.
Talk about shit either, so
the random words we throw in here that some people go and catch.
Yeah. So I guess until the next one. Stay scared, kiddies.
You said that wrong. Remember, kiddies, stay scared.
No, I say different because I'm your cousin.
Okay, because you're retarded. Gotcha.
Yeah. All right. See ya.